Are we live? Yeah. Trying to fix something real quick because I had this cool border around my webcam that I liked, but it's not really working right now. I might try to fix it real quick while waiting for some people to come in. I might as well. Might as well try to fix it. So what does it look like? So it looked like this, but it's supposed to be a lot smaller. So I'm gonna try to fix it. Yeah, I don't know why it got so big all of a sudden. It's like this cool little border thing that just goes around the webcam. I should put it behind it though, right? Yeah. Whoa, whoa, whoa. This is harder than I thought it would be to put it on. Yeah, that should be good. It's literally just like a drop shadow. That's what the border is. But it makes it look so... See, why is it doing that? It just shoots it away. I'm not doing that on purpose. Come on now, just get in place. Don't shoot it up again. That's not what we want. That's so weird. Why is it doing that? Do you see it flying across my screen? I'm not doing that. Like, what? What? These controls don't make any sense. Is it not letting me make it smaller than this? Like, I don't... I guess I can only... No, 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 don't do it again. Oh, you know what I could do? Yeah, that's probably fine. I mean, I want it to be a little bit higher as well. How's it going, everyone? How's it going? I didn't think this would be a problem. Clearly it is. How's everyone doing? How did everyone... Oh, God. Okay, yeah, I need to... How do I do that? There we go. Okay. How'd everyone enjoy the finale? There are going to be spoilers in here, by the way. So if you have not seen the finale, for the love of God, please do not watch the stream. That's all. Or if you haven't seen any of The Walking Dead, like if you want to see it, if you don't care about it, if you don't care about watching it, or if you don't care about spoilers, I know a lot of people don't care about spoilers, then you're free to watch it. But if you care about Walking Dead spoilers and you do not want to be spoiled on the finale or any episode, we might even talk about the other Walking Dead shows, you probably don't want to watch the stream. This is a spoiler stream. I put that in the title just in case. So you are all free to talk spoilers as much as you want. I don't know why this is just being so difficult. You know what I'm gonna do? I'm gonna do this. So if I go over to YouTube game stream, let me copy this and then go back to this, delete this. This might not work properly, but let's just try it. Paste a duplicate. Did that fix it? Oh, it did. There we go. Now it's okay, there we go. And I can make it nice and big and put it right here. Wonderful. Okay, there we go. That's all I had to do. All right. So, how's everyone doing? Literally just finished the finale 5 minutes ago. Yeah, it was quite the episode. I had a lot of thoughts for it. I did a pretty long review, so if you watch the review, definitely go check that out. But I wanted to talk about even more than just the finale this episode. Like, we're going to talk about the universe as a whole, what they can do in the future, what they should do, what they probably will end up doing, all that stuff. I would love to talk about that stuff today. I've been dying to ask since seeing your reaction. If it were up to you, what changes would you have made if you were the showrunner? Okay. I will say that question's hard to answer because, like, it depends. Like, how much freedom do I have? You know, do I have to deal with the situation we were put in terms of, like, what actors were available and such? Or is it completely, like, can I basically control the universe and do literally whatever I want to do? Because if it was up to me, right, and I was leading the show since, like, you know, whatever season, and let's say Rick did have to leave, Andrew Lincoln did have to leave, so we had to deal with that situation. What I would personally do, and I know AMC's reason for everything was, it was all money wise. I hope you guys all know this. I don't have confirmation on this, but I think it's like most likely the case. The show did not end because AMC wanted to end it, or because the writers wanted to end it. That's not why it ended. There's no way the writers sat there and said, this is a good point to end the story. No, that's not what they did. There was some legal reasons, some business reasons. They thought they can save money this way. That's all. Why am I getting notifications? That's the whole reason for it. It's literally, honestly, I might. No, this is fine. It's all money related. I don't think they felt like that was a good place to end the story, because they're doing the spinoffs anyways, so they definitely had more stories they wanted to tell. So if they were just going to, tell those stories, they should have just done it for season 12. So that's what point I'm trying to get at here. If it was up to me, I would not have ended it with season 11. I would have had season 11 do similar to what it did, focus on Commonwealth, focus on the variants and the Reapers, but they would still have a season 12. And season 12 would be the definitive final season. It would be maybe like, doesn't have to be 24 episodes. It could be like a simple 16 episodes, just like any season. And it is the definitive final season. And season 12 focuses on finding Rick. That's all it's focused on. Like, you could still do season 11 the exact same way. It could still end the exact same way. It could feel like this final, like, completed arc. But then we have the Rick situation, and that's what season 12 is all about. It's about the character we started the series with, and we show a lot of Rick and Michonne, what they're doing. You can show the characters still in Alexandria doing their thing. You can even have Maggie and Negan go to New York. I don't know why they're going to New York, but they might be going there for a reason. We can still go there. If it's revolving around the Rick situation and CRM, it works. And you could have the whole season end, the whole series end with some sort of a conflict between CRM and Commonwealth. Something happens between them, because we do know there were some connections between Commonwealth and CRM. There was definitely connections there. So my question is, what happened after they took over Commonwealth and Pamela's not the leader anymore? Like, Ezekiel obviously would not, because Ezekiel's the new governor, he obviously would not be doing the same sort of a deals that Commonwealth was doing with CRM. So my question is, how does CRM feel about that? Realistically, CRM should be pissed. They should be like, you guys aren't sending us stuff anymore. You guys you're not keeping up with the deal we've had with you. So CRM realistically should come to Commonwealth, and that should start a conflict. That should have been season 12. Season 12 could have had CRM and Commonwealth have a giant war, and that would bring in Rick, obviously, because he's running away from CRM. You would bring in Michonne, and you would have season 12 be this massive battle. It would be fucking amazing. Like, I'm thinking in my head, I'm like, this is incredible. And they could still do this. They could still have the Rick series be about this. But the problem is they're going to be restricted in a lot of ways, because we can't have a lot of things back that we used to have. For example, Alexandria. We're never seeing Alexandria again, because they destroyed the set. Or I don't know if they destroyed it, but they got rid of the set. They got rid of the walls. Would they put it all back up again just to do this? I really doubt it. So we're probably never seeing... What the fuck is this? Why are there... I'm going to need like a moderator or something. I have Skullraiser in here, so if you see any comments like that, make sure you delete them. I don't know why people are saying that, but... Is there a block option? Because I see hide user on this channel. I don't know if that's the same as blocking someone. What was I saying? But yeah, they could still do in the Rick series, but you're not gonna be able to see Alexandria. They're probably not gonna have the same set, like the same sets as what they had in Commonwealth. I'm sure they got rid of those sets. So I don't know. They could do it a movie as well. I thought about a Walking Dead movie. That was an idea I had. They could do a whole Walking Dead movie that kind of connects all the spin-offs after they're all done. That would be awesome, but I don't know. I'm gonna read some comments up here. Your reaction made me cry. Yeah, I was way more emotional than I thought I would be, to be honest. Like, I did not expect to have a single tear drop that entire episode. I wasn't. Even though I've been watching it for so long, I always felt this way. Like, even the past couple episodes, I was like, I'm not really feeling these emotions everyone else is feeling, because the show's not really ending, so I was like, whatever. But the way they did it, the music, especially the music, I gotta say, the music is really what did it for me. Because you can have sad moments, but if it's not it doesn't have that emotional music to attach to the sad moments, I don't think it's as likely to make me cry. So I think it's just a mixture of everything. It just led to me crying, obviously. So, which I'm glad it did. I think crying is a fun thing to do during. I love it. It looks like you're in pain and you're like suffering, but I think it really is a telling sign of a good film or show if it's able to make me cry. Like some of my favorite movies have done that. You know, I bet he wouldn't let Carl die. Okay, I'm gonna be honest. I probably wouldn't have done that if I was a showrunner, but I've always had the opinion I wasn't that against the idea of it for a couple of reasons, but I personally wouldn't have done it just because, obviously, you know, the comic Carl storylines and such, but I don't think the comic Carl storylines would have even worked. And the reason I say that is because they did this big time jump, so Carl realistically should be like, I don't know, his age never made sense with how the show actually lined up. He was supposed to be like 13 or 14 in season 8 technically, and the dude's fucking 18 years old in real life or something. So that just didn't really, you know, work out. But then they were gonna do the time jump, and it look odd how he's aging. It always looked weird, but that would look even weirder. And I just don't know if I would believe he would do the same things Henry did. Like, Henry was kind of a naive teenager. He kind of, it was believable for him to do what he did to try to go save Lydia. I just feel like Carl wouldn't have done that. So I don't even know if his storyline would have worked. It worked in the comics for some reason, because Carl in the comics is very different than the show. It's definitely a very different character. He's always been a very different character. Even if they've done some similar storylines, it's always been a different character to me. Will you be reacting to the Rick and Michonne series? Oh, hell yeah. 1000% I will be reacting to the Rick and Michonne series. I'm going to be reacting to all 3 of the spinoffs. So, assuming all goes to plan, unless I, you know, quit in the meantime. But I don't think I will. I don't know. I should be, though. I'm not going to react to Fear the Walking Dead, though. I've already, you know, watched most of the seasons. I haven't finished season 7 yet. I'm halfway through it. I just don't enjoy it that much. So, there's really no point of reacting to it if I don't enjoy it. I feel like it's time to rewatch the show. Not bad. Not a bad idea. What is your prediction for the Rick and Michonne spinoff? I think it's like, in terms of just predictions, I think it's just going to be about Rick and Michonne. I think it's going to be the only focus. I don't really think they're going to actually show what's going on with the Alexandrians or with Commonwealth or any of that. It's just going to be Rick running away from CRM and Michonne trying to find him, and then eventually they're going to meet up probably like halfway through the series, and they'll be fighting CRM together, and they'll break out, and I think it'll probably end, whether it's the first season or the second season, it'll probably end with them reuniting with Judith. And they'll probably have them reunite in like just Commonwealth, because it's a lot easier to have them reunite in Commonwealth as opposed to in Alexandria, because like I said, they can't use the Alexandria set anymore. So if they do it in Commonwealth, they can find some area of Commonwealth that they could get a new set for that we haven't seen before. You know what I mean? It'll just work a lot better. Curious as to where the Rick and Michonne series will take place. It could be over a long period of time. That's the thing. Like, I think the scene we saw at the end of the thing was before season 10. Or season 10, episode 13, with the thing with Rick, right? But that was before we saw that Michonne episode, because obviously he had to get the boots and everything onto that boat. So that was like way before that episode, probably. And then the scenes with Michonne was probably right after. So the scenes with Michonne probably took place somewhere around season 11, probably 11A or something. Like, it was probably just during just season we just had. So I'm not sure exactly how it's going to work, though. Did you see the commercials? Yeah, I saw them, one with Andrea and stuff. Yeah. You think any characters like Carol and Connie will appear in the Daryl series? I don't know, because the thing about that is, like, they could definitely do that. Hold on, I'm just taking this sweatshirt off because it is hot as hell in here. They could do that, but the problem is he's going to France. So, like, if he's going all the way to France, how are they going to bring in characters that are not anywhere near France, you know? They could certainly have it so he comes back towards the end of the series and we see them at the very end as like a cameo, but I don't see it being like a whole thing where they appear. I was hoping they would be. I was really hoping before Lydia lost her arm, I was hoping Lydia would go with Daryl in the spinoff, because they never really confirmed what characters are in these spinoffs, so I always felt like they could throw like one or two side characters that make sense to go with that character in there. And, you know, Daryl and Lydia had a little thing where they were like kind of close for a little bit because, you know, I guess she needed a father figure of some kind, and Daryl was a decent father figure. And that just never really, they didn't really do much with that in season 11 especially. But I don't know, it would have been cool to see her go along. It wouldn't have really made sense, you know, she lost her arm now, especially she's doing just fine with Elijah and stuff. Why would she go with Daryl? But that's the thing. I don't know, I just thought it would be cool to see another character with Daryl. Obviously Carol was supposed to be with him, but you know how things work. I would love an Abraham, Rosita, Eugene spinoff. I would enjoy that too. I would. I'm not crazy about prequel stories though. I've always kind of felt that way, which is probably why Tales of the Walking Dead was not that interesting to me. I really need prequel stories to be like, if it's a really interesting story. Like if they have a really interesting story to tell between Abraham, Rosita, and Eugene, then I'm down for it. But if it's just them kind of just like hanging out on the road, I'm not going to be as crazy about it. I love those characters, so I will at least enjoy it to a degree. I'm definitely going to be down for it. But I don't think I'm ever going to be like so down for it. I think the only characters I really want to see more backstories for are the governor more than anything, because I don't know if you guys know this, but comic governor has a bunch of prequel stories out there. They don't have that for the show, obviously, but there's novels written by Robert Kirkman. I've read a couple of them of different backstories for the governor before we met him in the comics, and they're all really great stories. And they could remix those stories, but in the show. That'd be cool. I would love to see that, even if it's just one episode of the Tales. So if they do another Tales season, I would love to see the governor again. Negan as well. Obviously, we saw a backstory for him once, but it had nothing to do with his rise to power as with the Saviors. So I would love that if they did a thing with Negan rising to power with the Saviors. That would be cool. You can bring back Simon too. That'd be awesome. Bring back Dwight. They should make Telltale live action Walking Dead series. Man, if they did that, my life would be so complete. I can't tell you, like, I've probably been writing like fan fiction. I don't want to call it fan fiction because it sounds stupid calling it. I hate that word. I don't know why that just sounds stupid, but it kind of is that. I've been writing stuff for a Telltale live action thing ever since 2012. Ever since I was 12 years old when I first started watching The Walking Dead, when I first played the Telltale game as well that same year. When I started watching the show, ever since then I was like, this would be awesome to be a TV series, and I kept writing it, and I rewrote it like a million times. Obviously, as the new seasons came out, I kept having new ideas and stuff. And I don't know if any of you know this, I actually did videos on the channel back when I first made this channel, where I was going through and like talking about my ideas for like a whole 4 seasons worth of a live action adaptation of it. And I had so many ideas, and it was just, I loved it. And I just stopped doing it because there weren't getting many views, and like it took too much time to make anyways. And I wasn't crazy about some of the stuff I did in the story. Like, I don't think I'm a great writer by any means. I think I have some good ideas here and there, but I don't think I'm like a fantastic writer. But I just, every time I'm just like, just chilling, like let's say I'm in class and it's kind of a boring class or whatever, and I'm just thinking in my head all these ideas for what they could do for a live action series based on the Telltale story. It would be fucking amazing. The title is literally a simple title, but to me simple titles usually do better anyways. So you would just call it The Walking Dead Clementine. The subtitle will be Clementine. It's simple as that. You have Walking Dead in the title, you have Clementine in the title. It's a unique name. It definitely stands out for the Telltale series, and boom, there you go. You could have like 6 or 7 seasons worth of content to do a story for. It starts with Clementine at 10 years old, ends when she's like 17 or 18. It's like a Harry Potter type thing, a coming of age story for Clementine. We get to just see her journey. It would be so damn good. The hardest part would be finding a good Clementine, though. That would be so hard, because to find a 10-year-old who is a great actress who will be able to sign a contract for 7 more years worth of stuff, like, that's not easy to find, but it would be awesome. That's all I'm saying. I think if that's number one thing I want them to do. I might make a video on like Walking Dead things I want them to do. That would be the number one thing I want them to do for sure. I think it could be like it could be better than the main show if they were to really do it in the way that I feel like would work well. I don't know. There's just so many ideas they can do. And they don't have to do exactly what the games did, obviously. It would be definitely its own thing, but you would still have the story and kind of work off of it in some way. Because a lot of things would change. There's a lot of stuff in the games that are stupid. Like, there are some stupid decisions in those games. And a lot of it's just because the way the story's structured with all the different split storylines, they kind of have to make some stupid things sometimes. Like, a couple of the character deaths in, like, the second season, for example, they're just so stupid. But it's because they were, what do you call it? Determined characters is the name for it. So they had to kill them off. I don't know. The only thing I would make is to put in the end of the series, Rick Grimes will return in 2023, because there are too many people who don't know about the spinoffs. I agree. There's so many people who don't know. I was having a conversation with someone about this. They're like, there's no way people don't know. A lot of people don't know. A lot of people. I've been seeing so many people. They just don't even realize it. Obviously, we all do because we're hardcore fans, but the average person won't. And the hardcore fans do not make up a large portion of the community. Most people who watch the show are very casual. That's how every franchise works. The majority of people are casual viewers. So the Alexandria set is up for sale now. Yeah, see, there you go. I guess they could rebuy it, but that would only be worth it if the spin-offs blow up. And I don't expect the spin-offs to blow up. I'm sorry, I don't. Like, I really would love them to, but I just don't see it happening. Like, I don't see them getting a lot of money. Because they're on AMC Plus, right? They're going to just air on AMC Plus and AMC on cable as well, like just like the main show, I'm assuming. Or I don't even know if they will be on AMC cable. They're probably just going to be on AMC Plus. Which is stupid, because who the fuck is AMC Plus? You know what I mean? I think if AMC was smart, they would try to make a deal with another company to put their stuff on their streaming site, because you gotta get it out there more, right? They have Netflix, which they don't do that. They don't have a deal other than for the main show. Even the main show, the deal that they have is like they don't get the seasons until like almost a year after it releases. So it's not even like a great deal. But let's say they can get a deal with, let's say like Peacock, for example. Way more people have Peacock than AMC Plus. We can all agree on that. So if you were to make a deal with them, the episodes could get on AMC Plus and Peacock. They don't have to be just one or the other. You obviously, AMC, the only issue is they have to pay Peacock, I'm assuming, right? Or does Peacock have to pay? I don't know how that works. But they would make some sort of a deal there where money would be going. I think they would have to pay Peacock, right? Because they're getting their show out there more. But no, Peacock would have to pay for it. So they'd be making... I think Peacock would pay for it, but then they would also get some of the money from it. I'm not sure how that shit works. Regardless, they should do it. That's all I'm saying. They should do it. Regardless of how much it costs them, whatever, they need to do it, because the show just being on AMC Plus, nobody's watching it, right? This show is the most pirated show of the past couple years. I don't know if you guys saw that, but it's like one of the most pirated shows. People just watch illegal versions of it. Even I saw on Twitter, I was going to say something about it because it was like a really diehard fan, and someone was like, oh, I know a lot of you don't have AMC Plus, so I'm going to stream it out for everyone so you guys can watch it. It's like, I get it. You know, you're trying to help some people out who don't want to pay for AMC Plus, but people like that, they're the reason the show's not making much money. They're the reason why. Because people just pirate the show, so it's obviously not going to make a lot of money, you know? I can't say I'm any better. I got the free trial of AMC Plus on 5 different emails, so I kept doing the free trial thing. But I do pay for AMC Plus subscription on Amazon Prime though, so I just got the AMC Plus version because sometimes they would release the episodes earlier or some shit. So I was like, all right, I guess I'll get AMC Plus real quick. Wasn't expecting to see as much Rick as we did. A few weeks ago I was, but then once we got to like episode 22, I was like, okay, yeah, we're not seeing Rick until like the last 10 minutes of the last episode. I kind of just accepted it. And my predictions it wasn't really predictions. Like I said, it was more like what I want to see happen. I was like, straight up, Rick's just going to come back. He's just going to be a part of the final episodes. But yeah, they didn't do that because why would they? I know it would kind of mess up with the spinoffs. I understand, but that's why I'm saying they should have just done a season 12. That should have been the final season. And you could have this CRM versus Commonwealth war. It would complete all the characters so much better. It would be perfect. Do you think the Maggie Negan spinoff is CRM related? I hope, because I can't think of another reason why Maggie and Negan would go to New York City together. It just, I don't get it. And I don't know. We'll find out. I didn't cry while watching the ending because I was with a person, but if I were alone, Jesus. Yeah, that happens with me. I don't usually cry when there's people with me. I need to be alone. And obviously recording's not the same as being with someone. A lot of people think, they're like, is recording, like, does it feel the same as you are when you're watching it with someone else? No, it doesn't at all. It's just a camera looking at me. I know people are going to see it later, but it's not the same as having someone right there, you know? The flashback showing everyone got me. Yeah, I really like that. That was a nice touch. I want a lot of Walking Dead Funko Pops as a new set. I used to collect a lot of Funko Pops, but I kind of stopped. No offense to people who do. I'm not trying to, you know, offend anyone who does, but I don't see the point of it anymore. I did for a little bit, and it's definitely something that a lot of people enjoy. They enjoy collecting stuff, but I think I just started realizing they're just collecting dust. Like they're just in my room just collecting dust. It's like, I don't know I can't do anything with them, you know? I don't know. So I stopped buying them because I just felt like they're a waste of money. But nothing against people who do like collecting stuff. I get it. It's definitely a thing. People love doing it. I just personally don't do it much anymore. I used to, though. I will say I collected a bunch of things for Walking Dead related. I have a lot of like those bobbleheads. I have Daryl, Michonne, Rick one over there. I'm not going to show them all, but they're just over there. They look cool, sure. They're just on there. But like at the end of the day, the only people in his office is me and occasionally a couple of like friends or something. Like there's not many people who go in this office. So like there's not like I can show these off and be like, oh, look at these cool things, you know? I could put them in the background, but the way this room is set up, it doesn't really allow for many things to be put in the background. So I could try to do it, but I don't know. Some people do think they'll be like worth a lot of money some days, and I think that depends on the collectible item. I don't really know if Walking Dead collectible items will be worth that much, but like if a Darth Vader like toy from like the 90s, that might be worth something. I don't know. Even Luke's death hit me. Yeah, that was nice. That was a really good death. I saw some people shitting on it because they're like, oh, they just brought it back just to kill him off. But like, well, yeah, I mean, it's not like they chose to do that. The Luke actor was filming for like Harry Potter or whatever. He was doing one of the new Harry Potter movies. The Fantastic Beasts, so it made sense, you know. He couldn't be on there. They brought him back, killed him off, whatever. It was a nice moment. I liked it. My new favorite Walking Dead YouTuber, very genuine. Thank you very much. I appreciate that. I want to say though, like, I don't want to get like, I do want to avoid something. I do want to be I want to avoid being labeled a Walking Dead YouTuber. Not that you can't label me that. You can label me what the fuck you want. You can call me anything. I don't care. But I'm just saying, I want to avoid being labeled that, just because it does affect your channel's growth when you are specific to just one niche. Like, I'm gonna upload Walking Dead content as much as I can, don't get me wrong, but I'm also gonna upload a ton of other content, and that might mean going months without uploading Walking Dead videos. Like after, let's say, the next 2 weeks or so, when I start doing like my rankings and stuff, after that there's probably not gonna be much Walking Dead content on this channel until the spin-offs come out, you know. So until I think it's like April or something. So you're going to see every now and then maybe a video, sure, but it's not going to be frequent, because I do want to post videos on a lot of other things. I still am, you know, reacting channel. I react to a bunch of different shows and movies. I still do reviews and rankings for a bunch of different other things like comic book movies and horror films and stuff, like a bunch of things I like to do here. So if you make it like all about Walking Dead and then you just do other content, it will kind of hurt the other content a bit. So that's why I try so hard to make this like a movie and show channel, like first and foremost. And if you have a bunch of different things that I'll focus on more or less, sure, but I never want it to be just that, you know what I mean? Well, you can call me a Walking Dead YouTuber, I don't care. I'm just saying, you know? Will the cast of World Beyond return to the Rick and Michonne series? I hope, just to make that series feel like it was worth it, you know what I mean? Because I didn't enjoy the series, like, I mean, I didn't enjoy the series too much, except for some of the episodes in like season 2 and such, but I feel like it would make it worth it, you know, to have watched it if you had a couple of the characters return. I would like that. At the very least, Jadis, I know she wasn't like originally in the World Beyond, she was in before that in the main show, but they should have Jadis return, definitely. I wouldn't mind one or two other characters as well. We'll see. Do you think Daryl may meet Rick's brother in France as he's in the comics? I honestly don't know. I don't think they'll do anything with that, but I don't know. We got a lot of comments. Damn. Maybe Rico becomes a CRM soldier? Or you mean Rick? I was like, who the fuck's Rico? Well, he's clearly something for CRM. He definitely works for them in some way. Like, not works for them and like he's getting like a nice salary. I mean, like he's a prisoner and he's working for them as a prisoner. I don't know what exactly he's doing. They called him a consignee or whatever that is. I'm not sure exactly what that means. I could look it up right now, actually. Because I'm assuming what they called him is what he is. Deliver something to a person's custody, typically in order for it to be sold. So I guess he sends things. I don't know. He's a delivery boy. I don't know. Daryl kept saying Carol and Daryl would be on screen together again, but when he said it at Comic-Con, Carol didn't seem to like that. She might be done with the show. I don't know. It's up to her, but I don't know. It is sad though, because I believe the reason I should use the actor names, not the characters. Yeah, I know what you mean though, but yeah. The thing about that, I do feel bad for Melissa because she was like, originally the show, they never said where it was taking place. So she was like, oh, I'm down for a spinoff. But then I think they said they're going to France. So she's like, oh, I can't do that anymore. You know? Do you think the finale is a top 10 episode? Still debating it. It's somewhere in the top 10 or 15 probably, but I don't know. It's still debating it. I was definitely in the honeymoon phase right after watching it. I was just like above the moon in love with it. But then I realized a little bit after it, I was like, yeah, there's definitely some issues. It's not perfect. It's definitely not better than someone like the classics. Like, you can't tell me that's better than Too Far. No, you can. You can have your own opinions. You're entitled to it. But personally, definitely not better than Too Far Gone. Not better than No Way Out. Not better than the season 7 premiere. It's not better than those at all. It just can't be. It could have been, but it's not. Do you ever think people from the Walking Dead series will be seen again? For example, older Judith. Oh, they have to do Judith. If anyone's going to come back from the original series, other than the ones in the spinoffs, obviously, it's going to be Judith and RJ, 1000%. The other characters, kind of a hit or miss. I'm not sure. Personally, I really want to see Morgan back. I know he's in Fear the Walking Dead, but please, for the love of God, just bring Morgan to one of the spinoffs. I want to see him, whether it's the CRM spinoff or something. And I hope Fear the Walking Dead does that. Correct me if I'm wrong here. I mean, actually, no, not correct me if I'm wrong. Inform me, please. Is Fear the Walking Dead Season 8 the last season? Have they said that yet? Or is it not? Or have they not said anything? Because it better be the last season. Like, it better be. I don't want to see more of that. And not because I think it's a big deal. Like, I'm okay with them to keep doing their own stuff. I don't have to watch it, you know? I'm going to watch it anyways. I like the series a lot, so I'm going to watch it. I like the universe, not the, specifically for the... There's some stuff in Fear that's really good. There is some stuff. I just haven't really liked season 7. But season 8, I want it to be the last season because I want those characters to do something else in the universe that's not in Fear the Walking Dead. And what can that be? I don't know. At the very least, I want to see Morgan maybe go over to the Rick series. Maybe season 8 ends with him, going to CRM or something. Maybe he gets captured himself by CRM along with like Madison, Alicia, whoever's still alive on the show. I'm not caught up, so don't spoil anything. Well, actually, I know something happens with Alicia, but I don't know exactly what it is. I don't know. I'll get to it soon. I'm on season 7, episode 8. I think season 7, episode 7 is the last episode I watched. I'm currently on the mid-season finale of season 7. I'm probably going to watch that later tonight. I'm watching it on my own. I'm not doing reactions for it. I don't know. I don't like it that much, so there's no point. But I want to see these characters go over to... I do know about Madison returning, though. I do know that. That's why I know about that. Obviously, I heard about that. It's been out for a while. I want to see these characters go over to the other stuff because I just don't really enjoy them on Fear that much. But I love the characters. I love the actors. I love the actresses. I want to see them go over to the other stuff. I personally think if they're not going to do the season 12 thing, which they should have done in the first place, you got to do a Walking Dead movie that combines everything. And I mean everything. Take the Fear characters, take the spin-off characters. You could even bring back some of the characters from the main show, bring them all into a movie, and you can finish this franchise in a very defining way with the CRM Commonwealth War, like I was talking about before, and that would please me. That's how I would do it, personally, at this point. If it was, my decision way before, I would have said do a season 12, but, that's not what they're doing. I feel like the ending scene with Judith and RJ didn't really fit. I get why they did it, but I feel like the fade to white with Rick smiling was the perfect ending. I didn't mind it. I see why you would say that, but I don't really mind what they had the little thing there. Who's your favorite villain throughout the series? Definitely Negan. Negan and the Governor, they're pretty close. Pretty close for first, and then shortly followed up by Alpha. I would have liked Alpha more if the Whisper of War felt more satisfying, but I just never felt like it was that satisfying. But she was a great part of it, obviously. Do you ever think people from the Walking Dead? Oh, you already said that. You all don't have to ask questions twice, by the way. If I don't see your question, you could ask it again, but like give it some time. Don't ask it again like 2 seconds after asking it. Like, you know what I mean? The way I see it is because I know obviously people want their question to be seen, and if I miss it or whatever, I get you want me to see it, but give it at least like 10 to 20 minutes before asking it again, maybe, because otherwise it's just like right there. Obviously I'm not going to read every single thing just because we wouldn't get through all of them, you know. I want to keep up as much as I can. I want a Gabriel and Rosita and Coco series in the future, but she died. Yeah. It'll be cool to see some of the kids grow up. I hope we see a older Coco at some point. Have you seen the behind the scenes? Nope. I'll probably watch it at some point though. Eugene should have died instead of Rosita. I mean, I would have been okay with that, but at the same time, I feel like they spent so much of the season trying to keep him alive. That's why I don't think it would have fit as well, because it would have been like, oh, we just did all of that to save Eugene and then he just died, you know? Aaron and Gracie series. I just don't think that would work, because the only issue with characters like that is those characters are in Alexandria, you know what I mean? Like, why would Aaron and Gracie go out of Alexandria, you know? Having Connie in the Darius series would have been cool. It would have been, but honestly, it probably wasn't because they didn't want Connie in the Daryl series. It was probably because the actress didn't want to. Maybe she just, because I don't know if they're doing Eternals too. I don't know if she's doing more Marvel stuff, but maybe she has more stuff lined up like that. That could be it. I don't know. Because The Walking Dead is a big, like, it's a pretty big, what do you call it? What's the word? Commitment. Like, they film a lot of episodes for this show. This show films way more than most shows do. Most shows are like 8 episodes. These shows are like 16 episodes. Well, I guess the series are probably going to be a lot shorter, but still. I hope the series have big budgets too. How do you think Negan and Maggie will end up in New York? That's the thing. I don't know. Like, what reason do they possibly have to go to New York? Because I believe Alexandria is in Virginia, right? So Virginia is maybe like 5 hours from New York, maybe 5 or 6 hours by car. If they don't take a car, it's even longer. I'm sure they could have a car though, so 5 to 6 hours. So what reason would they have to just be like, yeah, let's just go to New York? I don't know. Well, I know that's in Virginia, but some people were saying Commonwealth was in Ohio. I think that was in the comics, but I don't think it's in Ohio, unless I'm wrong. But is it in Ohio in the show too? Because that's just a bit too far from where I feel like they are in like, that's the thing, they never really make it clear, really ever, for even where Alexandria to Hilltop is, they never really make it clear how far these locations are to each other. So I'm always just kind of like, I don't, like, how does this work? Like, how long does it take them to get to place to place? They only sometimes show it, you know? They showed it a couple times with like Hilltop to Alexandria and stuff. Like, they'll sometimes show us the journey, but most of the time they just skip over it. We never really know how long it is. So like, I'm not sure exactly how long it is, like in terms of miles or something. Yeah, they're going to have to do a new show. I agree, if they're going to continue the universe. And like I said, I think the Telltale adaptation would be the best idea, because that is an idea that will make money, because it's something people are already aware of and familiar with, and that's usually what makes money, is things that people are already familiar with. And especially if the Last of Us show does really good, that'll show that video game adaptations could work and could be really good. So yeah, people could be down for that. And there's a lot of people, I know a lot of people who love the Walking Dead game don't even watch the show. They haven't seen a single episode of the show. They love the Telltale game, they don't watch the show. So you would get those fans to possibly even want to watch the show. Now you can get new fans onto the show. That would be great. So I think that show would do really well. In best case scenario, it would have no connection to the main series. No connection. No connection. Other than maybe like a cameo here and there, I would be okay with that, maybe. But mostly no connection. Thought the finale was satisfying enough. Yeah, I thought it was satisfying. It was satisfying. I enjoyed it. The show can only really end with hope for the future and ending the current arc since it's about surviving. Yeah, that's the thing. It had to end in a hopeful way. A lot of people were saying they wanted a bunch of people to die that episode. They were like, oh, I was hoping it was going to be a bloodbath. Normally, I would agree with you. I want like bloodbaths in this show. It should be a lot darker. I've always wanted the show to be way darker than what it is. It has been pretty dark, but like especially season like 10 and stuff, I feel like there wasn't enough dark stuff to it. I want like really fucked up stuff to happen in the show. But in the final episode, that wouldn't have fit. That wouldn't have fit at all. I think they should have been killing more people off in the past couple of seasons, but not in this episode. Just doing Rosita was perfect, right? Rosita and Luke, that's perfect. You don't have to do anything else in that. If they started killing off, like if we saw fucking Ezekiel, like if Gabriel, like all dying, it would not have fit at all. It would just would have felt shock value at that point. And that's what Angela Kang said herself. I think she said in an interview something along the lines of like, we didn't kill off a bunch of people because we didn't want that. Like it wouldn't feel right for the finale. And then interestingly enough, Angela Kang said Rosita was not the original choice. Apparently they were going to kill off someone else. She didn't say who. They were going to kill off someone else. And then Rosita, the actress, she said she wanted to offer to be the one to be killed off. I don't know who the original person was. I'm going to assume maybe it was Gabriel or Carol, maybe even. Because Carol, I know she was originally going to do the show, but maybe after learning that she wasn't going to be in the show, they were like, all right, let's kill her off. And then maybe Rosita was like, no. Kill me off instead. I don't know. Something like that must have been what happened. Maybe Ezekiel could have been the one. I don't know. One thing that I didn't understand, actually, the Ezekiel actor, Carrie Payton, he said he wasn't satisfied with his character's end. Personally, I was satisfied. I thought Ezekiel actually had one of the more satisfying endings to his character. Like, even in the final episode, he had a couple of good moments. So, I don't know. I enjoyed Ezekiel's ending. I didn't think he needed much more than that. But the actor felt differently, apparently. The only characters that I don't think had satisfying endings, I don't know. Like, obviously, the characters who have more spinoffs obviously didn't have satisfying endings because they still have more stuff to go with. But what characters didn't have satisfying endings? Obviously, like Virgil and stuff, but I mean, like, main characters. I don't know. Can't really think of it right now. I wish everyone had a reaction to Rick being alive. That was one of my biggest negatives with the episode, yeah. Can you rank the Walking Dead seasons again now that it's done? Yep, I'm actually working on that video right now. I just recorded it last night, and I'm editing it. I was editing it today. I am not sure when I'll have it uploaded, either tomorrow or Thursday, but probably soon. I'm working on it right now, though. It's gonna be a long video. I could have made it a half-assed like 10-minute recording of me just going through it real quickly, like which ones, what my order is, and just kind of going through it. I could have done that, but I actually put some effort into it. Like really had like maybe 10 minutes to talk about each season, so it's like an hour-long video. Or no, not 10 minutes, maybe like 7 minutes. It's something like that, but it's like a more than hour-long video. It's gonna be a little bit longer than an hour, and go in depth with each season and with a bunch of clips and stuff. I really wanted to do something like that. It was not a tier ranking. It was just a full-on ranking of every season. I am going to do a tier ranking, though, of every Walking Dead universe season. I decided I would do that right after, and that's where we'll talk about all the Walking Dead seasons again. We'll do it a little bit quicker, though. We're not going to do it as in-depth as we do for this first ranking video I'm going to post, but we'll also rank Fear the Walking Dead seasons, World Beyond, and Tales of the Walking Dead all in that one tier list. So it's going to be cool. It's going to be cool. Prequel for Princess? Yeah, that'd be okay. Oh, there we go. Princess. She didn't have a satisfying ending, because what the fuck did they do with her? I don't know. Princess was an interesting character, because they spent like a whole episode in 10C just on her. Like, it was all about her, like, trauma and how it's affected her and everything. And they never touched on that again. Like, they maybe had one scene in like 10, I think 11C, they had one scene where she was talking to Mercer, and that's it. They never really focused on what happened to her ever again. They didn't really do much, to be honest, other than talk to Mercer every now and then. So I think she didn't have a satisfying ending, but she wasn't a main character really, so I guess it's not a really big deal. Who's your guys' favorite Ted character? Oh, you meant TWD. I was wondering. I was like, how do you spell The Walking Dead as in Ted? You meant TWD. Rick for me, easily. It's easily Rick. No way it can't be Rick. But also Negan and Maggie are great too, so. I live in Venezuela, and the only episode I saw legally was the last one. Yeah, see, a lot of people pirate it, and I'm not gonna say anyone's like wrong for doing that. You can do whatever you want, but yeah, that's why the show doesn't make much money. You think Jadis and Major General Beale will be in the Rick series? They should be. They should be. This was an interesting thing. I really hope that is Juan Carlos Esposito in the helicopter, because it sounds like him. I watched that clip again and again, and I'm like, dude, that's gotta be him. Come on now. But the only thing making me feel like it's probably not him is if it was him, they would have said something. They would have said it publicly, because that's a big thing to reveal. Like, yeah, we got Juan Carlos Esposito in the finale. They would have said that. They would have said that. So I don't think that was him in the helicopter, but it really did sound like him. Like, just watch that clip again, and please tell me that doesn't sound exactly like Juan Carlos Esposito. Those of you who don't know who that is, that he plays Gus in Breaking Bad. And he plays a couple other characters in a lot of popular shows, but it sounds just like him. Like exactly like him. It would be awesome if he was going to be a CRM like general or something, but I don't know. It probably wasn't. My theory: Daryl, Rick, Michonne, Maggie, and Negan all got spinoffs because they will connect to each other for a crossover. I really hope so. Really hope so. Like, I know this is gonna sound cringy because it's like Marvel, and Marvel's cringe to everyone, but I mean, you can't tell me that wouldn't be really, really awesome to have those spinoffs connect in a movie, and also bring back the characters from the main series and Fear the Walking Dead and even the World Beyond characters, and you have like an endgame type moment with all of them just like standing side by side, all the ones that are currently alive at that point, standing side by side, looking off into like a horde of zombies, and they just all run into the horde of zombies to take them all out. Like, you can't tell me that wouldn't be like the most amazing thing ever. Like, it would. I know it's, it's fan service. I want good story first, but just to have that alone would be really awesome. I want to see something like that, It'd be a big thing too. I mean, having Morgan and Rick reunite, Morgan and Carol, Negan and Rick. I mean, I need to see Rick's reaction to Negan being still alive. I need to. I just need to. That's the one thing about film writing that I really disagree with. For what is perceived as the right way to tell stories, and I'm gonna explain it right here. So I haven't like taken film writing classes other than like one or two in like high school, but I haven't taken like any serious ones. But I have watched a lot of like videos and stuff, and read some articles and books and stuff about film writing, because it interests me. I do want to stay informed on the type of stuff. And one thing that's always kind of talked about is something that like is a no-no. Like they say this is not something you should do in film writing. You shouldn't have characters too frequently. You could do it every now and then, but you can't focus on it for too long, or you shouldn't. You can't have characters telling other characters things that the audience already knows, which is probably why they didn't focus on Judith telling people about Rick still being alive, because we all know that. So that's why they had a quick little scene with Daryl. Daryl didn't really say much, and they move on, right? Because that's like a film writing thing. You're not supposed to do that. You're not supposed to waste time on stuff the audience already knows. I fucking hate that idea. That is so ridiculous to me, because that just, like, that's apparently a known rule or something. And I'm like, why? Like, you think I don't want to see other characters' reactions to certain things? I don't care if I already know it, because they don't know it. You know what I mean? That's the whole point. If you really want to get immersed in a story, part of it is seeing their reaction. It's like, why do you guys watch reaction videos that I have, right? It's the same reason. You want to see my reaction. Yeah, you know what happens in the finale because you already watched it yourself, but now you want to see how I react to it. It's the same damn thing. I want to see how Daryl reacted to it, but he didn't really make a face. To be honest, I still don't know why. I don't get that. It's fucking Rick. He would have had more of a reaction to it. But it's a film writing thing. Most movies do that. They tend to skip over big moments of characters telling characters things because we already know those things. I hate that. I want to see the reactions. Focus on it. You can have it be emotional. Some movies do it, but it's more of like it's just things that film writing, they tend to say it's bad. They tend to say it's not a good thing. That's all. I don't get it. Probably the number one thing I disagree with in that, you know, in what is perceived as the objective way to write, you know, better, I guess. I don't really think there's an objective way to write better. I think there is different ways of telling stories that could work, you know. Rosita's death still hurts. I prepped for it during 2-week breaks, so when it finally happened, I thought I'd shake it off, but when it happened, I just felt numb. Kristen played her so well. Oh yeah, she did. That was probably her best performance. Just that one scene where she was revealing the bite to Eugene, it was so good. Like, that scene got me. God, the music was really good too, and just seeing her tear up and just kind of like smiling through it, it was good. The Walking Dead is such high highs and such low lows in terms of episode quality. Yeah, that's why the show isn't as popular as it would be otherwise. And I really thought about this. Would you guys have preferred it if the show was shorter, had less episodes, and what was I gonna say? It had less episodes and just more condensed story overall, but that means less, you know, scenes. So we'd get less of those little moments, less of those quieter moments. It's just everything that happens is, you know, important to the main story, and it has, you know, effects that at first that sounds like, yeah, that would make the show more popular. It probably would. People would still love it more because they wouldn't feel like they're wasting their time watching it. Because yeah, there are a lot of slow moments that don't need to be there. Let's be real here. So a lot of moments definitely don't need to exist. But the thing is, the reason why these characters are so beloved is because they spend that time on them. Because we have episodes of Beth literally just looking for alcohol the whole episode. Is it a stupid thing to do? Yeah, I will say it's just watching her look for, you know, booze the whole episode is not very entertaining, but it adds to the character. It does, regardless of it actually changing her and developing her. It does make you care more because you have more experience with them. The same way how in real life, obviously a friend who you've spent more time with, you're going to probably like more than someone you haven't spent as much time with. And if that one person, you know, God forbid, tragically passes away, you will have probably been more affected by the person, most likely, not all the time, but most likely the person who has been around you more. You're probably going to be more affected by that than the person you were with less. Which is why The Walking Dead's deaths hurt so much, because it doesn't feel like you're just losing a character. It almost feels like you're losing someone in your damn life. I'm not that extreme, but if to a degree, for some people, it feels that way. Because if you watch, let's say, like, I don't know, 11 seasons worth of stuff, right? I've probably, and this might sound like pathetic, but I've probably spent more time watching certain characters in this series than I have with actual friends in real life. Obviously not like close friends or anything, because obviously if I haven't spent that much time with them, you know? But when you think about it like that, it's like, you know what I mean? You spend so much time with these people, and if we don't spend as much time with them, we're not going to care as much when they die. So I don't know. I'm okay with it being the length it is, even if we get slower moments, because obviously the budget, they need to have slower moments. They can't have 24 episodes in a season and for every episode to have crazy big things happening. There's going to be episodes where pretty much nothing happens, right? But at the end of the day, it is still spending more time with these characters, so when they do eventually die or some stuff does happen with them, we care more. You know what I mean? There's a reason Luke's death wasn't that sad. Well, it was sad, but it wasn't like, I didn't drop a tear for it, right? Because we didn't spend much time with Luke. Whereas Rosita, I have known Rosita as a character since 2014, right? 2014, whenever she was introduced, 2013 maybe, I don't know. It's been a while, so. And I don't mean character deaths in shows are going to be sadder than people's deaths in real life. That's not what I mean. Don't get that wrong. Don't get it the wrong way. You know what I mean. The finale sucked, not gonna lie. You are entitled to that opinion. I can see why people didn't like the finale, though, honestly. Like, if I wasn't like a big, and I'm not saying you're not a big fan of the show, but if I wasn't like a hardcore fan of the show and I just kind of like casually watched it or something, I definitely don't think I would have liked it, to be honest. Because it didn't feel like it had like that much to it, but it was more of like a paying homage to the series type of thing, and the emotions really hit me, so I think that's why I liked it so much. I just don't think Funko Pops will be a thing someday. Probably not. I don't know. It makes sense. We didn't get a season 11. They adapted all the comics. We're going to see Rick reunite story continue next year anyway, so I don't see why it matters. Well, the reason why it matters is because people aren't going to watch the spinoffs as much. You know what I mean? If you still had season 12, like, unless something crazy happens, I will be the most surprised human being on planet Earth if this spinoff comes out and it ends up getting like more than like 3 to 5 million views per episode. Well, it's hard to say because if it's AMC Plus, and they never reveal numbers. I don't know why AMC never reveals numbers, probably because they're not that high. But let's say it gets, even if it gets the same amount as the main show, I will even be surprised. Well, again, we don't really know the exact numbers. We know the live viewers, but we don't know like who's exactly watching AMC Plus. But even if it gets the same amount of views, I will still be surprised because there's a lot of people who are using this end of the series as a bookmark end to the series. They don't want to watch all these spinoffs. It's going to turn into like the Marvel's problem where there's just so much content that they can't keep up with it. So instead of just watching what they want to watch, they just stop watching it. A lot of people do that. A lot of people with Marvel, they've given up. They've straight up stopped watching it because they're like, I have too much stuff out there. I don't want to deal with it. A lot of people have that mentality. I don't. I'll watch all of it. I don't care, right? But a lot of people do. So I'm worried that people aren't going to watch it. Now, if it's season 12, they might feel more obligated to watch it because they want to finish the series, right? So that's why I think it would have worked better. And also, I'm just worried about how they're going to treat these spinoffs. I'm really hoping I'm getting proven wrong, but I'm worried about how they treat them in terms of the budget. I hope they give them a good budget. That's all I'm saying. But even if they adapted all the comics, I don't think a final extra season would have really been a big problem, especially because the comic ending, in my opinion, wasn't very good. I think the comic Commonwealth arc was bad. Like, I hated that ending for the comics. I think it had a cool, like, time jump thing. I like that, but the stuff with Commonwealth in the comics did not like. The TV show Commonwealth arc was way better. Way better. But the Whisper arc I preferred in the comics. So if you're just wondering how I felt about those, I prefer Commonwealth in the show, prefer Whisper War in the comics. Which is hard to beat because the Whisper War in the comics was probably the best part of the comics, actually. We got a super chat. I'm going to check it out real quick. Matthew Ferrara, am I saying that right? Thank you so much for the $5 donation. I don't mind it being long because you got to know the characters and see them grow older together and see them mature. Also, the end montage broke me. That's what I'm saying. Yeah, like you just get to know them more. I'm okay with that idea. I just do think the show would have been more popular if it was shorter, because you see something like The Boys, right? The Boys is a pretty short series. It's 8 episodes per season. They've only had 3 seasons so far. It's very consumable. Anyone can turn on The Boys and watch each episode and be just fine with it, right? They're not going to feel like they're like so far behind. But The Walking Dead, trying to get someone to watch The Walking Dead is like the hardest thing in the world. Like, it was really easy back in like season 5 and 6. Like, if I told someone to watch it, they were like, oh, sure, I'll watch it. But nowadays, they see that there's 11 seasons and they're like, fuck no, I'm not watching that. Because every season's pretty long episodes. And if they sit through it, yeah, some of the moments are kind of slow, right? Some of the moments can be slow. But it does add to the characters and it adds to the growth of them. So that's why I'm okay with it personally. I just, like I said, I think it would have probably helped with the series overall if they weren't as long. Where were we up here? I don't even know. I'm going to try to find the general area. How would you rank all the season finales? That's a hard one. I know my favorite season finale is probably season 4 finale. Season 4 finale is awesome. That was like one of the best moments in The Walking Dead when Rick bit out Joe's throat. Just like, so fucking good. I love that episode so much. Season 2 finale was really good. Need a sip of water. Season 2 finale is definitely up there as well. Season 5 finale was really good. Season 6 finale. Oh, I forgot about season 6 finale. I love that one. A lot of people hate it because of the cliffhanger, but I don't really care, to be honest. I didn't like the cliffhanger. I didn't like it, but that doesn't ruin the episode. The episode's still really good. Season 7 finale was really good. Season 8 finale, I don't like it as much as I did when it first came out. Definitely had a bit of bias to it because I saw it in theaters, so it was kind of special, but I didn't like it as much as time went on. It's still a pretty good episode, though. Season 9 finale is probably like one of the worst. It's not bad, but just compared to other finales, it's not that great. Season 10, you got Here's Negan. That's really good. Season 11, obviously, with this, was really good. Season 1, Season 1 is probably the worst. So, okay, the worst ones are going to be Season 1 and 9. Those are the worst finales. Season 3 probably follows right after that. Then I would say Season 8. Then Season 5. Then Season 2. than season 11. I don't know. I lost my track already. I don't know. When I do my ranking of every single episode, you guys can see exactly where I put them, but I don't know how many people are actually going to watch that full video because it's probably going to be like an hour or two long. So sadly, Fear the Walking Dead will have an 11th season. Oh God, I hope not. That would be terrible. Season finale of Chucky is going to be a Christmas special, which works perfect for Chucky, and we've never seen that before. I'm excited for that. Oh, by the way, anybody here who likes Chucky, I am going to be doing a ranking of every Chucky film along with the 2 seasons of the show. I usually never rank shows along with movies because they just don't really work well to rank them against each other, but I want an excuse to rank the Chucky movies, so we're going to do that anyways. Probably do that within the next couple days after the finale. Will you rank every episode again? Yep, that's going to be a video. It's going to be all one video, all 177 episodes. It's going to be crazy. What is the next show you'll react to? Game of Thrones. Probably going to start that in December. So funny seeing people jump out of their seats gasping when Rosita, falling into the crowd of walkers, managed to only get one bite when she's all clothed. Yeah, okay. The bite made no sense. I will say that. I didn't really talk too much about this in my review because I didn't really realize it at first, but when you start to think about it, it didn't make much sense. She had a hoodie on, and there was no like mark on the hoodie, and like there was no mark on her clothes either. So how did it wasn't a bite. I think it was a scratch. I think they revealed behind the scenes there was like, it was just a scratch. But even then, how did it get through the clothes, and why was there no mark on the clothes? Because no one could see it, you know? So I didn't really get that. I just don't think they really thought about it too much. Oh well. How do you find the effects in the explosion scene? I thought they were fine. I saw some people saying it was terrible. I was like, yeah, that's fine. By the way, I will have a Terrifier 2 reaction posted soon. So anybody who likes the Terrifier 2 movie, post that in a few days. I cannot stop thinking about that movie over the past couple of days because I fucking loved it. I don't know. I'm definitely in the minority. I don't think many people loved it as much as I did, but something about it. Some new Fear photos from season 8 filming show a teenage girl that looks a lot like Morgan's baby, so I think they might be doing a time jump. Oh yeah, I did see that, yeah. So it should be a time jump, which is good because it needs to line up with the main show because I don't think it is currently lined up, but season 8 should line it up. They said it's their last season, I think. I hope so. It shouldn't go much longer. I don't see why it is. Like, they don't have many more stories, I feel like. They've kind of gotten to a point where, like, they're just... I don't know. I like a lot of Fear the Walking Dead. I do. I don't hate the series. I think season 6 was actually pretty great. You know, I think season 4, in terms of the first half of it, was really good. I think season 3 is a little overrated, but I still enjoy it. You know, there's a couple good things there. I don't know. It's not terrible. It's just, most of it just doesn't really hit for me. If you could have substituted any Walking Dead character with a different actor, what actor would you choose and why? I hate to say it, but I really hate to say it because he seems like such a chill guy. He does. He seems awesome. You know, I don't have any disrespect towards him. I would have gotten a different actor for Carl. I loved him as Carl in the first 4 seasons. Like, he was incredible. Like, as a child actor, he was really good. Like, his season 3 performance, especially when Lori died, was so good. It's like, wow, this is a good kid actor. But I don't know what happened. Like, but once like season 5 or 6 came around, I just don't really think I was like enjoying his acting anymore. Like, not that he was bad. It's just, for the standards of the show, it just didn't feel like it had the same hit to it. And a lot of his scenes kind of came off as like, I don't want to say cringy, but like it just didn't fit. I don't know. I just didn't like it too much. And that's not just me saying that. He did come out and say he wasn't happy with his acting. He wasn't happy with it because he was focusing on like school and stuff. So he didn't put enough focus into the show. And I do believe that's probably why they killed him off, because his acting wasn't like amazing in the last couple seasons that he was in. He did pull out his A game in his last episode though. His last episode he did great, but I don't know. There was something about it. I wasn't crazy about his acting. So I probably would have had a different actor there. But I I don't know. Jesus too. I think Jesus was one I wasn't crazy about. Not because the actor was bad, but when I think of Jesus, I think of like a big buff dude, like from the comics. He's kind of big in the comics, you know. And Jesus in the show, just no disrespect to the actor, but he just kind of felt like I don't know. He wasn't that like menacing to me. He was just like kind of a ninja, but like he wasn't that menacing. To me, Jesus in the comics felt like this guy who is really menacing, like he looks really menacing, but in reality, he's kind of a sweetheart. Like that's kind of what the character of Jesus is. But in the show, he didn't really feel like a menacing person who's also a sweetheart. He just felt like a guy who's kind of chill, and that's it. So I probably would have had a different actor for Jesus too. I can't really think of anyone else though. I can't think of who specifically I would have instead of them. I don't really know that. I haven't thought that far ahead, but those are the two ones I would have had casted differently. And again, no disrespect to the actors. They have great, talent. They do. It's just I don't think they worked great in those roles. They did for certain points. I mean, Jesus was great in certain scenes, but the comic fan in me would have preferred someone a little bit different. It was weird to see you cry. It's not the first time I've cried in a video. I've cried before. But yeah, it might be the first time you saw it though. Commonwealth is indeed in Ohio in the comics, right? But is that confirmed in the show? Because it's kind of like, is that far from Virginia? Like, I guess it depends where it is in Virginia. If it's like the very edge of Virginia on the left side, and if it's very right edge of Ohio on the right, then maybe. But I don't know. Maybe Herschel gets taken and Maggie Negan goes after him into New York. Maybe, but I don't know. Herschel already got taken the last couple episodes, so I think that would just be weird for them to do that again, Show got worse in season 8. I disagree. I mean, there's certain things I haven't liked about it in season 8, but I loved season 9. Like, I thought season 9 was one of the best seasons. Season 10, I had a lot more issues with. And season 11, I thought had some good stuff, some bad stuff. I don't know. I don't think it got like terrible. I think The Walking Dead for me is not like this is the point where it went downhill. Like, that's not how the show goes for me. The show for me is very much an up and down show. There's high points, there's low points, and it continuously goes up and down throughout the whole series. There's never a point where I'm like, okay, it goes up here and then it just drops down and the rest of it's shit. Like, I don't feel that way about it, Why hasn't Negan and Maggie spinoff been explained the last episode? Probably because they wanted the ending to be like happy, and they didn't want to spend too much time like just building up for the new series, which I kind of like that. They only had like that one scene with Daryl leaving that was kind of, and of course the Rick scene that was teasing the spinoffs. I'm sure they just didn't want to do too much of that, maybe. So we'll see why they leave. I'm sure the show will definitely explain it. They're not going to start the show with them just in New York and like they're not going to tell us why. They're going to tell us why for sure. I'm just turning on the fan because it's really hot in here. Probably only going to be streaming for another 10 minutes, maybe. I don't know. Maybe 15, maybe 20. I don't know. I always say that and then I end up going for another hour, so. Why do you think Rick is so needed by the CRM? Yeah, that is true. I've always thought of that. Like, I don't exactly get that. Like, I get the whole people as a resource thing, but which was Negan's philosophy. But like, I feel like at a certain point, who cares? It's just one guy, Like, what effect is Rick really gonna have on the entire community? I don't know. That's the one thing I don't entirely get. I'm sure we'll find out, maybe. I think Commonwealth was the weakest storyline. I had a lot of issues with the Commonwealth storyline. I did. It wasn't that it wasn't like interesting. There were certain ways about it that just didn't feel like it worked as well as it could have, especially with some of the dialogue. But I liked it for the most part. I liked more of the stuff that had to do with like Lance and stuff. I thought that was the best part of it. But I don't know. If he gets out, so does any information he has on them. Yeah, I guess, but like, how is that really going to affect them though? They're this big. It's not like we're in the real world, I would understand it if we were still in like the normal society, and he can leak it to like the media or something, but there's no media. So it's like, what information is he going to reveal to people? He's going to go tell his group that has like, he doesn't, I guess maybe they're worried he has more people that he's with, but why would Serum be worried about that? They have this massive community. They're probably fine. I don't know. We'll find out. Would you still have Herschel and Glenn be in the Telltale series if it was getting made? No. For a couple reasons. First of all, the Glenn actor is way older now, so it would be hard to kind of DH him. And Scott Wilson is dead, so you can't bring him back. And I would hate if they did a CGI Scott Wilson. That would be terrible. Like, even if the family was okay with it, I'm okay with them doing CGI of characters that have passed away, like they did it for what they do it for. They did it for Star Wars Rogue One with Tarkin. But I would rather they didn't do it, especially for The Walking Dead, So I wouldn't see it. And they could recast too, but again, it's just, I don't see the point. You wouldn't need Herschel and Glenn there. Like, they were cool little cameos in the game, but you don't really need them in the show. I wouldn't put them in there. They were not necessary to it at all. What caused the virus? They never really specify what caused it. How would you feel about canceling all the shows and rebooting it into movies? I don't know, because it depends what kind of story they want to tell. If it's a long story, you probably can't tell it in just a 2-hour movie. So that's the only issue with that, but movies do tend to have bigger budgets, so it would look better. So I don't know. I'm really kind of, kind of in between on that. I want to see a movie, but I'm okay with the shows as well. What happened to Negan's wife in the last episode? I guess it didn't really matter, because I'm assuming they just were like, yeah, he returned to her back at Alexandria, and that's it. I guess there wasn't really much to see there. Apparently there was a deleted scene. Apparently they did have a scene between the two of them, but they deleted it because to save time or something. Season 11 might be my favorite season. Wow. Gotta wait for recency bias to wear off a bit, but man, what a ride. Most creative choices this season were on point. I respect that. I will say it's definitely not my favorite season, but you all got to check out my ranking to see exactly where it lands on the list. It's not too low. It's spoiler right now. It's somewhere in the middle. That's all I'll say. You know how many times a day I see The Walking Dead on Disney Plus? There's nothing wrong with pirating one episode a week. Everyone watched the finale just for Rick to show up at the end. A lot of people probably did. Juan Carlos Esposito would boost that spinoff on Max, but I don't see him taking a major general role. Yeah, I don't see it either. I don't even see him being in the show. I still don't think it's him. It sounds like him. That's the thing. It sounds exactly like him. Started with him looking for his family and ended with him looking for his family. Agreed. But see, how much better would it be if they did a season 12 and it ended with him actually finding his family at the very end? That would be even better. But no, apparently not. Hey, you know what? They could have even still done the season 12 and still done the spinoffs. The spinoffs could have taken place between season 11 and 12. They could have even done that. I don't know. Whatever. I'm going to stop complaining. Is AMC going to announce a new spinoff next year? They already announced 4 seasons worth of shows that are coming on next year. They have Fear the Walking Dead season 8 and then the 3 spinoffs, Daryl, the Negan and Maggie one, and the Rick and Michonne one. So we already have 4 there. I don't think there's another season they're doing. Not sure about Tales of the Walking Dead. I don't know if they're doing a season 2 for that. I don't really think they need to, but if they will, then there you go. You got 5. So that's a lot. During the infamous bat scene, did you or when did you know Glenn was going to die? How big of a moment was it for you? Yeah, I was spoiled on that before the episode came out, and I'm so glad. That was probably the best thing to ever happen to the Walking Dead universe. The Walking Dead spoiler community just dying all of a sudden. That was the best thing to happen, because I don't know if how many of you know this, but there was a really big spoiler community on Facebook called the Spoiling Dead fans. And I will admit, during like season 5 and stuff, I was one of those people who just could not wait to hear what happened. So I would always check out the spoilers. But there was a certain point where I was like, okay, I gotta stop looking at these spoilers. So I stopped looking at them. But there was like no way to escape them, because once they posted the spoilers, they posted them everywhere. People were putting them on Twitter, Facebook, Instagram, YouTube. You couldn't avoid them if you went online. So the Glenn and Abraham death, they spoiled those. It was everywhere. It was literally everywhere. So I couldn't avoid it. It still hit me like a ton of bricks, though. I still cried my eyes out when it happened, but it was spoiled. So I think their thing they shut down like it's season 9 or something. I think it was a little bit after it was season 10, I think, when they shut down. The best thing that ever happened, easily. Because spoilers were not as common past 2 seasons. I didn't really see them as often. You know, apparently Rosita's death was spoiled like months ago. I never saw it, thankfully, but there was not a lot of spoilers for this show, which was great. You know, Spoiling Dead fans though, they would spoil everything, and I was like, bro, stop it. I looked at them, I did, but I didn't want them. They were like drugs. You don't want them, but like you do it anyways. It's like that's what happened. Honestly, I think it was because like I would have so much anxiety watching the episode, so sometimes it would just feel nicer to just know what happens before it, or I would just be so impatient because I love this show so much. I still do, obviously, but I was so obsessed with it. Like there was a period of time where that's all I thought about, all I talked about. If you were my friend, I probably pissed you off with how much I talked about the show. It was funny enough. Sixth grade, when season 3 was out, there was this kid in one of my classes, and he didn't watch the show. I don't think he was allowed to or something. His parents had let him. Every day, every Monday, after Sunday, after the new episode, he would ask me what happened, and I would just run down the entire episode to him, start to finish, because he didn't want to watch it because he couldn't, but he wanted to know what happens. Yeah, what the hell happened to Virgil? Yeah, I'm sure the actor couldn't be there, but it'd be cool to see him again somewhere. I'm just thankful there was no spoilers anymore for The Walking Dead because I've been reacting to them the past 2 or 3 years. So it's nice to know that I can watch them, with a fresh, completely fresh without having seen spoilers and stuff. Obviously, now that I do reactions, I don't fuck with spoilers anymore about anything. I only ever did with The Walking Dead. That was the only thing I ever spoiled myself on, like on purpose, just because I was, that impatient. But I would not be like that today anymore because I really want to go into these things fresh as much as possible. The music for the whole show has been amazing, especially that music during Daryl's final scene riding off. Yep. Agreed. I'm putting a lot of music from the show as background music for my ranking videos. So definitely, hopefully you guys enjoy that because I thought it's fitting. I just hope it's not copyright claimed because most of it's not copyright claimed. Ben McCreary usually doesn't copyright it, but some of his music is, so it's hard to like work around that. Less episodes per season equals less filler episodes. That's true. But like I talked about before, sometimes the filler episodes still does something for me because it at least spends more time with the characters so you care more, Because filler is a tricky word. Like, when you say filler, it makes it sound like it's not important at all. But there is a length of importance to certain things, or there is an extent of importance to certain things. The one episode I will 100% agree is 1,000% not needed, and I don't think it added anything to the show at all, is Diverged, the episode with Carol and Daryl just doing activities for the whole hour. That was a terrible episode. It did nothing. Do you think Ezekiel and Mercer deserve a spinoff? I wouldn't mind that, but the only problem with that is then you would have to have the big budget of having Commonwealth there, and you would obviously bring back a lot of characters because it's all there. You really can't do spinoffs on characters that are there. You know what I mean? You just can't. Because then it would basically just be like the main series at that point, Like, are we going to see just them two and that's it? We're never going to bump into anyone else in Commonwealth, you know what I mean? That would be weird. I was thinking that we're going to, the place where the variants were at in episode 19, I was thinking that Kingdom 2.0, they were actually going to use that, and Ezekiel was going to go back there and do the Kingdom 2.0. I thought that would have been cool, but obviously that didn't make much sense because the Commonwealth, it's the perfect place to live. Honestly, I don't even get why they're still at Alexandria. Like, I get it's nostalgic, it's their original home, they built it, and all that stuff, but it's not nearly as safe as Commonwealth, especially after them, fixing the issues within the government and stuff. It's way safer. They have way bigger walls. They have probably way more food, probably way more everything. Like, I know they can bring that stuff to Alexandria, but Alexandria just seems a lot less safe in like every single way, shape, and form. Like I feel less confident living in Alexandria than I would living in Commonwealth. You know what I mean? So I don't even understand why they stayed living in Alexandria. I don't know. I know it's just nostalgic reasons, but it's whatever. They have so much unreleased score. There's a lot of good YouTube channels that will edit the score themselves. They will like edit the soundtrack out of the episode and release it on YouTube. So there's a ton of that on YouTube. I definitely recommend checking it out. Obviously, it's not as good as if they officially released it, but you know, it is what it is. They gave Rosita a trashy death, and she should have sacrificed the group from danger. Rosita got the same usual generic death like Carl. I disagree. I don't think... I mean, it is The Walking Dead, so like you're gonna have a lot of people getting bit. Like it's gonna happen, and it's not about the way they die. To me, I don't need the way they die to be like that different than everyone else. What matters to me is how it impacts the characters around them, and like the conversations they have like as they're dying. If especially for like a bite death like that, I think it worked well for Carl, because imagine Carl died from like a grenade in Alexandria or something. That just, I don't think that would have made any sense. Like it was more peaceful dying from a bite. That's why they do the bite deaths a lot of the time, because it is more peaceful rather than them getting, you know, ripped apart by walkers, you know. And sacrificing the group from danger, I love sacrificial deaths, I do. But again, isn't that also, not, I don't want to say generic, but it is done a lot, you know. It's probably done just as much as the bite deaths are. I don't know. I like the death a lot. I do. I just think there was some issues with it in terms of realism, like the fact that she did not look sick at all. I don't know how she even got bit there or scratched or whatever. Like it didn't really make much sense, but it was a really well done death otherwise. When do you think the Rick and Michonne Daryl spinoff's coming out? Probably late 2023. I'm thinking November, maybe a year from now, maybe October. Would you do a tier list of Walking Dead Telltale characters? Maybe someday. That'd be fun. Because Kenny's honestly one of my favorite characters in like fiction, period. Like if I were to rank top 10 fictional characters, he would be in the top 10, I think. Along with like Rick, Walter White, and like a couple other really big characters in fiction. I don't know, I'm just a big fan of broken characters. Like characters who are really broken, like Logan is a good example of that. Like just really broken characters who have been through a lot, and it affects them and it makes them do bad things sometimes that they regret doing. Like those are my favorite types of characters usually. They have the most interesting stories. Might pop some mints. My mouth's getting kind of dry. These mints are pretty good. I agree they should bring Morgan and then have Rick and Michonne post-credit scene. Oh, and Fear Season 8, yeah. I agree. They revealed a leak of Morgan in Virginia? How do you know it was in Virginia, though? Season 10 was awesome. I find it really underrated. That's fair. I think Season 10B was really good. Most of it. But I just didn't like Season 10A. I didn't like 10C. So that's more than half of it that I didn't like. Are you going to do any sort of character ranking or tier list? I'm not sure yet, because I already did one back in like earlier 2022, like earlier this year, after season 11B ended, but I don't think my opinions changed that much, you know? So the only character that I think would actually change on that ranking, Rosita would probably go up. I think I put her in B tier. I'd probably put her in A tier now. That's the only character I think I'd change, though. Every other character would probably stay the same. So that's why I don't think I would do it again. Who tells Rick there's no escape for living? We don't know. We don't know yet. Thoughts on not giving closure to characters like Scott, Barbara, and Diane? When I was talking in my review about like showing minor characters, I meant like characters like Virgil, but not characters like that. Because to me, those characters, they aren't really characters. They're more like, you call them red shirts. They're just kind of there. Especially Barbara. Barbara more than anyone. Like at least Diane has had a couple of moments, but the reason why I don't call them real characters is because To me, a character is someone who has a story. They have a story, and we see their story progress in some way, right? Those three characters you just listed, we don't really know anything about them, other than like we know Diane shoots bows and arrows pretty good, and she has a couple lines of dialogue throughout the series. But she's never used in a way where we really understand who she is or what anything about her. We never get moments like that. So, you know, Virgil had moments like that. We learn a little bit about our Virgil. We learn a little bit about who he is. But we don't with those three characters. So that's why I don't really care about any closure for them. They were always there just for the background. I wouldn't mind seeing them again in the background. That'd be cool, but there's really no point. She got bit on the shoulder. I'm pretty sure it wasn't a bite because I saw the behind the scenes. They don't really show the mark in the episode. They kind of purposely didn't show it for some reason. But they showed it behind the scenes. It was like more of a scratch, which is weird to me because they rarely do scratches in the show. Like we've rarely had characters die from scratches. But that's what it looked like. The Rick scene felt too hopeful. Well, it is the ending, though. It'd be kind of weird if it wasn't hopeful. Troy was the best character on Fear. Oh, I agree. He was one of the best. I don't know if he's my favorite, but he was up there. He was probably one of the best characters. That was, I think, one of the worst things they did. Yeah, because Troy would have been awesome to see, you know, in more episodes. Do you like Glenn or Aaron more? Probably Glenn. Aaron's great too, though. I don't really know how to explain it. Glenn has more interesting storylines, I guess. Aaron has a couple of cool moments and stuff, especially in the later seasons, but I don't know. I always like Glenn more. Glenn's probably one of my favorite characters. He's got that, like, innocent side to him pretty much the whole series. He's like the most innocent character there is, and then he has to lose that innocence. And right when he loses it, a couple episodes later, he dies. So, I don't know. I like that. I still never understand people who say Glenn should never have been killed off. Like, I get it. He's an amazing character. I love him too. But it was such a great moment for the show. You gotta kill off some people, you know? Any non-lead characters that you would have loved to have make it longer than they actually did, any of that you would have liked to have been more fleshed out. Do you count Tara as a non-lead character? Because if we're talking about Tara, if you count Tara, then definitely Tara. She should have stayed alive, only because her death had no impact on the series. If they made her character have an impact in some way, then fine, I would have been okay with it. But because they didn't, they should have done more with Tara. I would have loved to see more Tara. But if you mean like non-lead, like even less of a, you know, character than Tara, then maybe like, I guess you could say Diane, because we were talking about Diane before. We could have seen more of her, maybe. I don't know. I'm assuming the reason they don't do much with those characters, and I don't want to assume this because, like, you know, I don't know anything about their actual talent, but I feel like it usually has to do with their acting abilities. Like, there's a reason why they just don't bother with those characters. Like, you know what I mean? Because we always get these new characters introduced and stuff, and I'm always like, well, you have these characters there already. Why not just do more with them, you know? Why not start making them more important to the story? You know, even Rosita felt like a red shirt in season 4. She did like nothing in season 4, not even much in 5. But then once we started getting like season 6, she started becoming more important and she started feeling like a main character. So you could have done that with other characters. You could have done that with Scott. You could have done that with Diane. You could have done that with a couple other people, right? I feel like it probably is because they just don't think their acting abilities are good enough to have them be a big part of the series. That's just what I assume it is. We like to assume that, you know, there's never any of that and, you know, they'll always give everyone an equal shot, but obviously they do take their acting abilities into consideration. I'm just assuming that. I don't know anything about their acting abilities. I haven't really seen them enough to really make that opinion, but I think that would make sense from a business perspective. You're not going to have a character who you don't think has the best acting as a main character, you know? Also, Eduardo. Remember Eduardo? What the fuck happened to him? He just, I think I heard the actor was talking on Twitter, something like they just never called him back. Like he was in it for a little bit. They just never called him back. I don't know. Chad Coleman did great as Tyrese. I love Tyrese, yeah. You didn't like Tyrese? You wish Mike Coulter played Tyrese? I like Tyrese. He wasn't that similar to the comic Tyrese. I will agree with that, but I don't think he was bad. I kind of like the different version of him. I didn't love his death, though. It was cool the way they handled it. It was cool, but I didn't exactly love the timing of it. Like right after Beth dying, really? I don't like that. They should have saved the Reapers for Dead City and have all season 11 be Commonwealth. You know, honestly, Reapers in New York City would have been kind of cool. That sounds interesting. But yeah, I definitely think the Reapers should have been scrapped, but they had to do something with Maggie's return, I guess. I don't know. They could have focused more on not even Commonwealth, but the variants. I think they should have focused way more on the variants, because that's like a big deal, you know? And they kind of just did like 1 or 2 episodes with it. Do you think after all the spin-offs are done, they will come together and have another season of The Walking Dead? Nope. At the very least, they'll do a movie, but I don't think they'll actually call it another season of The Walking Dead. Maybe they'll do a whole new series, period, but it will not be The Walking Dead. It will not be part of that. Could they? I don't know. Has any show ever done that before, where they end it officially and then they just do another season, you know? Because every time they do that, it's usually like a reboot series. Like Dexter comes to mind. Like the new Dexter thing. I haven't seen Dexter myself, but I do know that the new Dexter thing is like not a reboot, but it's like a sequel series. That's what I meant. So it's not technically another season of the show. It's just a whole nother thing. So they could do that, sure, but that's all they'll do. Lauren Cohen says it takes place a few years after the finale. Oh, a few years? Wow. I thought it'd be a few months, maybe, but a few years is pretty crazy. Rick is most likely immune, just like Morgan. I don't know about that. Do you think Pamela was less interesting and a weak antagonist for the series finale, especially if you compare the other ones? Yeah, she wasn't as interesting because I don't know, I don't know what it was. It's like, I think Lance had more to him, you know, because he had all that like shady shit he was doing behind the scenes, whereas Pamela was just kind of like she was less of a villain and more of just like a piece of shit. Like I wouldn't call her like a full on like villain. She was just like a bad person, I guess. I don't know, but she didn't feel that antagonistic to her characters that often, other than maybe in a couple episodes towards the very, very end. But most of the series, she was just kind of like, she was kind of there. She was just kind of the leader. I don't know. You know? I definitely think she could have been better. She could have been a better villain. But I don't really like her that much in the comics either, so I can't really say. She's not bad. I just don't think she's nearly as good as other villains, which makes sense because the type of villain she is, she's not like a fighter villain. Obviously, she's not going to be like trying to kick your ass or anything. She's not, like Alpha at all. She's nothing even close to Alpha. So I guess I prefer the really ruthless villains that'll just like, well, no, Negan's different. Negan's really complex, which is why I like him so much. Whereas Pamela's complex in like a different way that I don't think was as interesting. I don't know. She's fine. I don't think she's bad. I don't know. I just don't think she was that great. Really should have only had 12 seasons. Agreed. It's clear the Reapers were supposed to be a full season, and that would have been 8 more episodes than what we got. They probably did have other plans. COVID definitely messed them up too. That definitely messed with a lot of their plans, I think. So I'm not exactly sure what their plans were, but it was definitely something different than what we got. That's for sure. In the 1 year jump, Negan would have had their child, so why would they not show it? Unless Annie is a backstabber and takes Herschel and his kid runs away. Imagine that's the story. Annie fucking kidnaps Herschel and their kid. What the fuck? Imagine that. She runs off. Oh, okay. Yeah, I don't know why he's leaving. I don't know. We'll find out. Will the spinoff kill Rick or Michonne? Nope. By the way, love your channel. Thank you very much. What was your favorite episode of the whole series? You say your favorite was Honor. I loved Honor. Very underrated episode. Everyone hates it because it's Carl died. Well, you can hate Carl dying all you want, but it doesn't mean the episode's bad. You know what I mean? Like I personally hated the fact that they killed off Henry. I was so pissed about Henry getting the Pike death. I was pissed about Tara getting the Pike death too. Doesn't mean the Pike episode was bad. That was a fantastic episode. So you gotta just take away your personal biases of what characters you want and don't want to die. versus the actual quality of the episode. Honor is fantastic. I agree. Favorite episode? Part of me wants to just, be a dick and make you guys wait to watch the video where I'm going to rank all the episodes. But you could, I have said it before. I made a video before. It hasn't changed or anything. So I'll say it's, no, I don't really give a shit. It's too far gone. I'm not going to make you guys wait for it. It's too far gone. A lot of people know that already. If you've watched other videos, it's never changed. It's always been that since it ever came out. It's never changed. Too Far Gone is perfect in every way. I don't have a single issue with it. Oh yeah, the Pamela casting was amazing. Yeah. Kenny, what about Lee? Oh, Lee's great too, but I like Kenny more. Because Lee is just like a good person all around. You know what I mean? Like, he's not, like, obviously he had, he killed people. Lee, my whole perspective on Lee changed, actually. Because I learned something. I'm not sure if this is confirmed. I read it on, like, the wiki or something. I don't know if the wiki is accurate. But I was under the impression that Lee killed the person that was sleeping with his wife. And that's it. That's all I thought, right? I thought I was some sort of, he killed the person that was like a senator or something who slept with his wife, and that's why he was getting, brought to jail. But the wiki says he also killed his wife. I don't know if that's true or not. I don't recall him ever saying that in the game, but that completely changed my perspective, because at first I was like, okay, Lee, he probably did it in a fit of rage. He can have redemption from killing someone like that. He can have redemption for it. It's definitely a terrible thing. But he get redemption. But then learning that he killed his wife too, if that's true, I was like, what the fuck? That's a bit much. I don't know. I hope that's not true, because it does change my perspective on him a little bit. But if I were to do if they were to do like an adaptation series of it, I would not have him kill the wife in the series. Actually, a really cool idea I had was, and I thought this was fucking brilliant when I thought of it, right? Instead of having the final villain at the end of the series being a Lily, like it was I would have had something completely different for Lily. I would have done something very different with Lily. You would have it so obviously Lee's killed off after season 1 or whatever, like, just like in the game. And then you get to the very end of the series, and the final villain for the series is Lee's ex-wife. And obviously Clementine comes across her having no idea, who she is, but she became a villain over time. Like, she, shit happened to her, stuff like that, and she eventually becomes this villainous character. And like, it ends up leading Clementine in this very difficult position. And, she has to, she finds out that it is, of course, Lee's ex-wife. And then they have this moment over it. And then it doesn't really change the fact that, she did fucked up things to Clementine. I thought it was such a cool idea to have that be the final conflict in the final season with Clementine, where she has to deal with the guy who literally changed her life, survived, kept her alive. And she's the reason, Lee's the reason she's alive today. The person's ex-wife is the person that you now have to deal with in the end, and maybe she has to make the difficult decision to have to kill her to save someone else. And it would be like a callback to her having to shoot Lee, because Lee was bitten, obviously. So her having to kill Lee, now she has to kill Lee's ex-wife. I guess, I don't know if you call it ex-wife because they never officially divorced, but you know what I mean. Like, I guess you technically would divorce. I don't know, whatever. You know what I mean. Lee's wife, right? She has to now kill her because she just is a villain now. Like, whatever happened in the 8 years or whatever leading up to that point, she went batshit crazy, whatever. And she's the villain. She's leading some, I didn't think that deep into it, but I just thought that'd be so awesome. Just a cool callback. I don't know. I was like, that'd be awesome. They can get the remaining characters from Walking Dead and integrate them into Fear. At that point, though, what's the point, though? You know what I mean? That's the thing I was saying before. Like, you might as well have just kept doing the main show seasons, That's the only reason I don't really fully agree. And that show's it's losing viewers as well. Like, it's losing viewers fast. It's gonna get to a point where they're not making enough money to keep the show going. So I don't know if they can, to be honest. The spinoffs, I think, will do much better than Fear is, obviously, because the spinoffs got big characters in them, obviously, but I don't know if they're gonna do that much better, but definitely better. Did anyone else notice Gabriel's expressionless face when Rosita and Coco fell? Oh no, no. Don't ruin that scene anymore for me. I love that scene. It's an incredible scene. But I noticed there's a black landing pad that Rosita's landing on. They didn't edit that out. I was like, why ruin the scene for me? Because now every time I watch it, I'll pull it up. I talked about this in my review. I'll pull it up right now. Because it pisses me off. Because I'm like, there's no way they didn't notice this when editing. There's no way they didn't just notice this. Now, if you're on a pretty, like, if your brightness is kind of low, it is kind of hard to see. But if you have your brightness at least medium or higher, you're going to notice it. I'm trying to find it right now. I'll pull it up for you guys. Okay. I guess I'll move my face. So it's right. You see this? You can see the outline of it. It might be kind of hard to see again if your brightness isn't turned up, but my brightness is usually turned up pretty decently. Actually, no, I think my brightness is like at the medium spot. I don't know. You can see it's right here. It's right there. She's landing on it. It's even more obvious when you watch like the scene as a whole. Obviously, she needs to be safe. They can't throw her onto concrete, but you can edit this out. You can probably do that. Not in. I'm sure these, they're talented enough to edit this out. I hope they do it in post. That'd be really cool if they did it in post production, like after the episode aired. They could do that. They could. Obviously, the people who like uploaded the clip to YouTube, it'll still be this, but like the version that's on AMC Plus right now, hopefully they edit this to fix it, because it's just like, what? There's a black fucking pad. It's right there. I don't know. It's not like the end of the world. It just bothers me a little bit. I'm like, come on now. Come on. But yeah. It'd be cool if they did a what if series of Shane leaving the group and running into CRM and becoming a CRM soldier, then capturing Rick. A lot of people have been saying that. I personally would have zero interest in a what if series, only because I've never been the biggest fan of hypotheticals, because at the end of the day, they're not actually the canon. So it's like, why does it matter? The only reason I think what if works in Marvel is because they have a multiverse, right? So the multiverse makes it so all of these stories are canon to the multiverse. They're just not canon to the main universe. But I don't know, making a multiverse for The Walking Dead would just be kind of weird. I don't know. I'm not opposed to the idea. I wouldn't be too crazy about it, because then you're watching it and at the end of the day, you're just thinking, well, does it really matter? It's cool to see, sure, but it's like, well, what does it matter? If it has an effect, doesn't affect the show at all. I don't know. What are your thoughts on Scott Gimple being the showrunner for the Rick and Michonne show? I think Rick and Scott together could bring back the vibe of season 4 to 8. It's confirmed he's a showrunner. I haven't heard about who's like writing and who's directing and showrunner for all these different spinoffs. I'm not sure about that yet, but him being a showrunner would make sense. That would definitely would. I have hope. The thing about Gimple, right? And it's hard for me to really know what effect he had on the show, because obviously he's not the only one writing the show. A lot of people get that mixed up. They think like the showrunners does everything. Like, oh, Gimple did seasons 4 to 8, so everything he did was all because of him. And then Angela Kang, everything she did everything they did in 9 to 11 was all because of her. Obviously, it's not the case. They're just like leading the writing team, kind of. So it's hard to tell like what exactly was because of Gimple and what was because of other writers. Like, it's hard to tell. But one thing I felt like I could tell that was a big difference between 4 to 8 and 9 to 11 would be the idea of exposition, right? I don't feel like Gimple gave much exposition. He kind of like made it so things were very subtle, and if you didn't really pay attention, or you didn't like maybe even, have knowledge of the comics or watch people explain it after, some stuff doesn't even make sense, right? An example I can have for that is, hold on. An example I can have for that, the season 8 premiere. An episode that got a lot of hate. I personally liked the episode. I didn't think it was great or anything, but I liked it. A big issue people had with it was they were confused. They were like, why are they shooting the windows? And they never explain why they're shooting the windows. They never do. They kind of do in the comics. So that's why I understood why they were doing it. But the average person has no idea why they're shooting the windows. Gimple does not waste any time trying to explain it. He wants you to figure it out on your own, right? Whereas in Angela Kang's seasons, I feel like in 9 to 11, everything is explained to you like you're given it, like you're handed a silver platter of the information. Everything is given to you. And it's not subtle. It's just so in your face. It's not nuanced. It's like right there. I think they need to find a happy medium between those types of storytelling, because I don't think either of them are the right way to go. You do need to keep your viewers informed enough so they can understand what's happening, but you also shouldn't give them so much information to the point where you're treating the audience like they're idiots. You know what I mean? That's kind of how I feel about their writing styles. So I'm excited for it. I think Gimple is a great writer. People who say he's not a great writer, I don't know. There's certain things I don't love about like some of the dialogue in those seasons, but again, I don't think he's writing every piece of dialogue in every episode. He's just the showrunner, so. If they announced one more spinoff, what would you want it to be? I would want it to be the Walking Dead Telltale thing I was just talking about before, but if it had to be about like a spinoff from the main series with other characters, only reason I'm not going to say Gabriel and Aaron is because it really wouldn't make sense for them to leave. It also doesn't make sense for Maggie and Negan too, so I guess I'll have to explain that. So I don't know. I mean, I love those characters, but I don't know. Who would I want to see more of? I'm going to go with a weird pick, actually. I might go with Magna and Yumiko. Again, I don't know why they'd be leaving, but do something with them. I don't fucking know. I'd be okay with that. They weren't like amazing characters, but I think that's why I want to see more of them, because I would like to like them more, you know, because I already like Gabriel and Aaron a lot, you know. Do you think Annie will join Dead City? No, I don't think so. I don't really know what happened with her. I think she's probably just at Alexandria. Yeah, but they killed him and Abraham. That was too much for one episode. Yeah, I don't know. I think it was shocking. I agree, but that's kind of why it was so impactful, you know? Both deaths had an impact, you know what I mean? Like, they both impacted certain people there. Because if you think about it, if you just killed Glenn, yeah, it would be very impactful, but certain characters wouldn't have the same impact. Like, would Rosita... I mean, Rosita liked Glenn, but she wouldn't be, like, as impacted as she would, obviously, with Abraham. Same with Sasha, right? And Eugene, so... I don't know. How does Rick know Korean/Japanese to write message to Michonne? Yeah, I don't know. I always assumed Jadis wrote that because it was a really nice painting, and like it looked like some type of art stuff that, you know, Jadis would do. I didn't even think Rick did that, but I guess he did. I don't know. Have you ever met anyone from the cast? Nope. I never go to those things. I've thought about it a couple times, but I don't know. Never got around to it. It'd be cool, but at the same time, I'm not like one to be like that excited to do that, because at the end of the day, I've also seen like how some of them go down. Like, I've seen videos of it, and sometimes it's usually like a 1 minute interaction, sometimes even shorter than that, like just 20 seconds. You say hi, it's like, oh look, it's this person, and then they walk away. It's not like I'm nothing against the actors, because they're talking to probably hundreds, probably even thousands of people that one day. So it's like, of course they can't spend all this time to like talk to you and all this. You're just seeing them for like a little bit. And I don't have that same sort of celebrity, like, of course I love them, I love their talent and all that, but I'm not like obsessed with them like I feel like some people are. No offense to people who are. I would be very excited to see them in person. I'd be like, oh, that's really cool, but I wouldn't be like passing out like some people do, you know what I mean? So that's why I never really felt like I need to see them. I never really felt like it would be, you know, something I would pay a lot of money for. If I just happened to come across them in the streets, that would be cool, you know, just like walking around like, oh look, and saying hi, taking a picture or whatever, and moving on with your day, because you don't want to bother them, obviously. I think that's the most annoying thing, is when people bother celebrities. It's like, let them live their fucking life, man. Like, geez, like, paparazzi is the worst thing to happen to humanity, without a doubt. I hate it. He was in a coma, but I'm replying to the one about Rick being immune is definitely possible because he was in a coma. But the problem is there was all sorts of walkers in that hospital. I think if you were like hiding in like a bunker the whole time, maybe, but you have to be hiding even in a bunker probably even like a month before it even started. It's like, why would you be in the bunker for the first place? Maybe someone who went to space or something. That would make sense. But also, I was under the impression that like the virus maybe was there for a while, but it just took some time to like mutate or something, and the mutation of the virus is what allowed it so they would turn when they died. You know what I mean? So maybe it was around there for a while. I don't know. Yeah, why it took a million years for Negan to get someone pregnant. He had dozens of wives and no one got pregnant until last season. Maybe they had some damn good birth control there. That's my guess. I don't know. That's my... Saviors must have been stocking up on like Plan B and stuff. I don't know. I confess that I would have liked to see Pamela a year later with long hair and completely crazy in prison. Yeah. That would have been funny. You think that if possible that Clementine could come in live action? I hope, but like I said, I hope it's a full series. I don't want to see her just come in like Fear the Walking Dead. She just shows up as like an 18-year-old and feel. I don't want to see that. I mean, it would be cool. It'd be better than nothing. I want to see the full series. I want to see her story from start to finish. Before COVID, I thought The Walking Dead would end in season 16. Because that's what Gimple talked about it like. He was like, the show is going to go on for so long. Because that was his plan. Then they changed plans. The show got less popular. COVID happened, so they definitely changed plans because of that. I know there's still more to the franchise, but that's probably what he meant. But I thought the show was going to go on way longer. What We Become is one of my favorite episodes. It's a good one, yeah. That was the closest to What If, that's true, yeah. And that was cool because I think that was a good What If because it was like working into the main story because it was what Michonne was seeing. That's why I liked it. I think Rick should just kill Judith. Oh yeah, that makes total sense. Imagine they like brainwashed Rick and he was just like a murderer. Like he just became a murderer because he was brainwashed. That would have been so stupid. People were talking about him getting like amnesia and stuff. That would also be really stupid. She could have been a more malicious villain. It's fitting that the final villain is a politician, though. The world is slowly getting back to normal. Yeah, it made sense. I was fine with that. It's just that automatically made her less interesting, in my opinion. Lee didn't kill his wife. He did kill the person that slept with his wife, but that was an accident. Lee didn't mean to kill the guy. He accidentally killed him in a fight. Yeah, that was my impression. But like I said, I read somewhere in a wiki or something that he did kill his wife as well. It was just never said in the show or in the game. But like I said, I that could have just been someone making that shit up. So I'm thankful you told me this now. It gives me more hope that he didn't actually kill his wife. Again, I never really confirmed whether or not that was the case. I'm gonna assume he did. I'm gonna assume he did because I never say in the game. So why would he have? But yeah, I was just saying I read it somewhere, you know. Yeah, Strand is one of the weirdest villains. The actor is amazing. I love Strand as a character in terms of the acting, but his character is all over the fucking place throughout that show, man. I don't get it. Why would Rosita let Eugene go first? So I hated that at first too. I was like, why is she not going first? But if you watch it closely, they didn't really do this that well, but if you watch it really closely, she gets grabbed by a walker. So she was like, Eugene, just go. Like she was yelling at Eugene because Eugene first did say Rosita go up first, but then she said, just go, Eugene, because she was like getting stuck by a walker. So she didn't want to waste any time. So that's why. And then obviously she like got out of the walker holding her. You have to watch it really closely to notice it though. It goes by kind of fast. Eugene is the Benjamin Franklin of The Walking Dead. I think Rosita's death should have been the result of a variant walker, but it was good nonetheless. Yeah, that'd be cool to have at least one character die from it. It could have been a variant walker. We just didn't really see it, though. Pretty sure Rick and Michonne are helping with the writing for the spinoff. I heard that. I don't really know how I feel about that. I mean, I'm sure they're not bad writers by any means, but I always think that's weird when like the actors like write for the show, unless they were doing that like from the beginning or something. But like I don't think they have been doing that. Having input is fine. I love when the actors have input. That's great. But like I don't want them to like write it, you know, unless they have some really good ideas in story. That's different. But they're not like writers first and foremost, to my knowledge. They could be. Maybe I don't know. Maybe they're like secretly amazing writers, but I don't know. I'm sure Gimple's doing most of the writing, so I don't know. We'll see. I think Rick hates Jadis now. Oh, most likely. Well, she did technically save his life, but yeah, he still probably doesn't like her because he is now a prisoner. The Walking Dead could be the main source of zombie content if it had a bigger budget. Like, it's all the budget. People always think I'm like crazy, but I'm like, no, it is the budget. That's the reason why they don't do as much as they could. It's the budget. It's all it is. The show does not have a big budget for what it needs to be, right? Sure, we don't know the exact numbers. We don't have the numbers. But that is why I'm pretty confident it's not a high budget, because if it was high, they would brag about it. Every show usually brags about their budget. If they have a high budget, they show it off. Game of Thrones, you know, they always show it off. I haven't seen Game of Thrones, but I do have heard that they have a high budget for most of their stuff. Stranger Things recent season had a really high budget. They also bragged about it. Walking Dead, they don't release that stuff. They released it for season 1, and it was like a $3.4 million per episode budget, which is not bad for a first season. But then they cut it in half for season 2, which is why the whole Frank Darabont situation happened, which makes no sense to cut it when the series was doing pretty good. You should probably have increased the budget. But they cut it because they had double the episodes. So they're like, oh, double the episodes, so we got to half the budget. But I don't know. So they can, like, you know, make it fill out for those remaining episodes. But that's obviously not what Frank Darabont wanted. So he got all, you know, mad at AMC and then eventually got fired. And they haven't really talked about the budget after, so we don't really know where it went. I'm going to assume as the series made more money, it went up. And then as the series made less money, it went down. That's what makes sense. And right now, the series is not getting a ton of views. So it's probably not that high, the budget anymore. And it feels like it's not with certain decisions they make. I still love the show to death. I still love a lot of it. They're still able to do great things, even with what they're given. But I know for a fact this show would be like as almost the size of like Marvel type like excitement that people would have for it still to this day. If it had I'm going to say at least like 7 to 10 million per episode budget. 10 million is perfect, but I mean, I think it's what HBO Max is, The Last of Us. I think The Last of Us is getting 10 million per episode. That would be perfect. This show would probably be like just as popular as it was before. I think they would easily have it be just as popular. Yeah, the Walker picked up the knife. I don't think they killed anyone with it. Yeah. I am naming my daughter Clementine. You know, it's a long period of time where I wanted to do the same thing, but I don't know if I would anymore, to be honest. But I don't know. It's a cool name. I love it. It's a great name. I meant to take a picture with Robert Kirkman on my way to walking to New York Comic Con. Oh, that's cool. It was the year of the big Negan episode. It was an awesome panel in Madison Square Garden with the cast. Oh yeah, I was actually gonna go to that actually, but I never did. Like I said, I always planned to go to these things, and then I never ended up doing it. I remember watching your adaptation thing that you did for it. Yeah, for the Telltale thing. It was fun to do that. I might honestly go back if I have more time, like especially next year when I like graduate college and everything like that. I might actually try to write like a full script of at least like one episode of that show, like the premiere or something. I want to try to write it. If I do, I'll definitely release them. Like, you know, I'll let you guys read them if you're interested. But I don't know if I'm actually gonna do that or not. It'd be fun. Rick is a murderer, in a way. French scientists were trying to achieve immortality, or trying to create the superhuman, but it went wrong and they tried to fix it and got worse. For the variants, I hope it's not anything like too sci-fi. I kind of hope it's just like a mutation of the virus that just makes them not as slow. Like, that's all I really want it to be honest. I don't want them to be able to do superhuman things. I don't want no superhuman shit from these variants. Because the variants aren't superhuman. They aren't doing superhuman things. They're just doing things that are not like walkers. They're more like human stuff. You know? That's all I want. I don't want them running faster than people can, you know? Unless it's like a really fit walker, maybe. But like, I don't want to see them sprinting like fucking 30 miles per hour. I don't blame you for not reacting to Fear last season. Was dumpster fire? I quit watching. Yeah, I just wasn't loving it too much, so I didn't think it would make sense to react to it. What season do you think had the highest budget? I'm gonna assume season 5 or 6. Probably season 6. Because season 6 had the whole herd thing, which that was big, and No Way Out was probably the most expensive episode. That episode was fucking wild with everything it had. Again, these are all assumptions. We don't have the numbers here. But there was a lot to that. I could say season 7 as well, but not because there was a lot of like action. Season 7 was not action-packed at all. But there were so many new sets and locations that they have to pay for, so many new characters that they have to pay. So the cast, everything like that, like it was so huge in season 7. So although that season was not very action-packed, I do think it was probably pretty expensive just because of everything there. Even same with season 8. But then you see some like the action started like not being as quality as it was in like season 6 and 5 and stuff. Probably because, they just had less budget. So I don't know. Sometimes it holds them back. But I'd say probably season 6 is the biggest budget. Yeah, the CGI deer. The thing about the CGI deer, actually, it's not CGI apparently. It's they actually recorded a real deer, but they took the deer, they had to crop the deer out and put it into the other shot. So it's a real deer, but it's not actually in that shot that we see it, and that's why it looks so weird. They didn't put the lighting right or whatever. So yeah, that's just a whole weird thing. Oh yeah, Shiva probably was pretty expensive too in season 7. That's true. She wasn't in it that much, but I mean, still expensive to a degree. Did you see the teaser for Dead City? Yeah, I did. I didn't do a video for it. It was 20 seconds. It didn't show that much. I didn't really think it would make sense to make a video on it. I'm not usually the type of person to make a video on something if I can't really talk much about it. I'm not going to be like, oh, let me talk about it for 2 seconds. I don't know. I could have done it. Actually, that's what YouTube Shorts are for. I need to use YouTube Shorts more. I need to use them. I should start using them. That would be a perfect thing to do a YouTube short on, but I didn't think to do it. Yeah, that scene with Eugene talking to Rosita with the "Are you looking forward to summer?" That was a great scene. I don't get why Frank Dillon. That's the guy who played Nick, right? I'm not sure if he left. I thought he was just killed off. I'm not sure if he wanted to get killed off or not. I forget. I know Cliff Curtis, Travis, right? I think that was Travis. I know he wanted to leave because he was filming like Avatar or some shit. I don't know. He was doing something with Avatar, the sequels, I think. It's weird seeing Daryl not have his vest and crossbow in the picture of his spinoff. Yeah. Do you think people should watch Fear the Walking Dead for just Morgan and Dwight? I mean, they're not really in like all of it. Like that's a problem with Fear the Walking Dead, right? A lot of the show will spend time on other characters for a lot of episodes. Like especially season 7 so far. I'm only halfway through it, but there's a couple episodes that don't even have like Morgan at all. So if you're just watching it for them, you're gonna have to watch some episodes that don't even have them, So I don't think it makes much sense to watch it just for those characters. You have to like the other characters too. You really do. And I do like some of the other characters. Not all of them though. The ones that I did really like, they started to kill off. Like John Dory, I loved him, and they just like got rid of him. Like, why? Don't get it. Hey man, I love your Walking Dead reactions. Thank you so much. Walking Dead ending with the season high in live viewership made me happy. I was scared this finale would not make waves. How much did it get? I didn't check yet, but I guess I'll check right now actually. because I didn't see how much it had. I'm gonna predict it right now. This is live viewership though. Everyone needs to keep that in mind because people always get this twisted. I don't think this counts AMC Plus viewership. Only people who watch it on cable. I'm gonna get. I haven't looked yet. I'm gonna guess 2.3 million. What? 2.27 million. Yeah, I was close as fuck. I guess you would round that to 2.3. I'm just surprised I guessed that so correct. It's almost so perfectly. Yeah, that's good for the season because it's the season high, yeah. But then obviously you compare it to other seasons, it's not nearly as high. But everyone, keep in mind, like I'll show on my screen right now, actually. I might as well bring it over. So what's important to know is that, like, where is it? They have like a graph. Yeah, this graph. Everyone keeps sharing this graph around. They're like, oh my god, look how terrible this looks. But you gotta also keep in mind that like AMC Plus came out around like this time, I think. So people stopped watching it on cable and they started watching it either on AMC Plus or even like on reruns. Like they can just watch it on like on demand or whatever. You have on demand options. You can watch that right after. People don't watch cable that much anymore because streaming started to become popular around this time. This is season 8 right here, I think. I think this is season 8. Yeah, this is season 7. This is season 8. So this is when a lot, I mean, that was 2017, 2018. Yeah, a lot of people stopped watching cable around that time. That's when Netflix started to become really big. That's when all these stream. So a lot of people stopped watching, yeah, because they stopped liking the show. That's true. But also a lot of it was just because there wasn't much, you know, cable anymore. People were watching that. So I think realistically, if you were to look at this graph and including people who are watching on AMC Plus and, you know, other sites that they could watch it on, I think it would be more like, I'm just prediction. It would still go down, but it would be more like up here. You know what I mean? It would be like where my arrow is right now. That sort of a thing. I think it would be more like that. Still going down, definitely. There's no way it's not losing viewers, but not to the extent of what this graph shows. I don't think it's this terrible, obviously. But yeah, it still does show, you know, there definitely was a decline in some way for sure. But yeah, it is nice to see that it went up for the finale, though. That's for sure. I like that. Oh, here's like the spin-offs. Remember this? Remember not the spin-offs, the webisodes. Remember the webisodes? I forget those exist all the time. I don't really see the point of them. I mean, now they have all these spin-offs, so what the fuck's the point of doing webisodes anymore? Should I include the webisodes in my Walking Dead universe ranked? No, I'm not gonna include this. What year do you think Rick and Michonne spin-off will release? Probably next year, late next year, either late next year or early 2024. Who would win, older Carl or older Clementine? Depends if they have weapons or not. I feel like Clementine only because she's more of a hard ass. Like Carl would be like, no, I can't hurt you, and then Clementine would just shoot him. You know what I mean? I always wanted Rosita and Eugene to end up together. He loved her. I would have been okay with that. I was always down for that, but there was a certain point, I think in like season 9, where it was like she was showing such clear disinterest, and I was like, okay, yeah, they're never gonna do that. Like it would feel weird if they did after that, but I would have liked it before that if they didn't, you know, clearly go in a different direction with it. Also, I think they would have had to have not done the Eugene season 8 shit. I think if they didn't do that, I didn't like the Eugene Savior stuff. I was never a big fan of that. If they didn't do any of that, I think it could have been a much better chance they would have gotten together. I might do that as well. I might do a ranking of every relationship in the show. I was going to save that for Valentine's Day, but like, who the fuck's going to be watching a Walking Dead video in February of next year? It'd make more sense to do it now when people are actually interested in The Walking Dead currently and they're talking about it a lot. The Walking Dead obviously lost popularity, but the ratings drop happened because of streaming. Yeah, it was because of both of those things, you know. So it's not as bad as it looks because there's still people watching it. Because, like, for example, my view is not even counted in that thing. Because again, that list is only showing US viewers who watch it on AMC on cable. That's all it's counting live. So if you watch it in another country, if you watch it on AMC Plus, if you watch it on demand, if you watch it pirated, you're not included in that. So it's not really showing everything. I remember hearing somewhere that The Walking Dead was snubbed from every Emmy award, but always got a nomination for makeup and design. Their makeup is amazing. They definitely get snubbed in terms of acting though, because their acting is the acting and the makeup is the two things in The Walking Dead that is definitely standing above most other shows in my opinion. I will say, like, as much as I love a lot of the writing in the show, I don't think the writing could possibly compare to like Breaking Bad and a lot of other shows out there. So I don't think it would ever get an award for that. It's never gonna get an award for like the action either. I like some of the action, I do, but again, you're not gonna compare to a lot of other shows. But the makeup and the acting, that's gotta be the best, right? It has to, for most shows. And I will admit, like the Walking Dead in terms of like quality and consistency, it doesn't compare to like a lot of other shows. Like I would say Breaking Bad is a more consistently good show for sure, but it doesn't give me the same emotions and the same high that The Walking Dead gives me. That's why it is my favorite show. That's why Walking Dead I prefer. Even if I were to be like recommending a show to someone, I would definitely recommend Breaking Bad before recommending The Walking Dead. I would definitely do that because I think Breaking Bad would be more consumable for the average person. The average person would like it more. I just think The Walking Dead is a show I like more, you know? The Bicycle Girl episode, I feel like I don't remember that. I remember the episode with the guy who looked like Owen Wilson in like a hospital, I think. I totally forget. The episodes came out so long ago. I completely forget them. Have you watched any other TV shows besides The Walking Dead? No, I haven't watched a single other TV show. No, I'm kidding. I haven't seen Peaky Blinders though. Yeah, I know Chandler Riggs was in the background. I saw that. I think that's a little, like, it's not a big deal. I don't really care, but I think that's one of those weird things because, like, there's no way anyone would notice that, obviously. But, like, what if you did? Wouldn't that just take you out of the moment? Wouldn't you be like, what the fuck? Why is he here? He came back from the dead? But yeah, I saw that. That's fine. It was a cool little thing. I think Chandler Riggs made, like, a surprise appearance or something, and they were like, let's throw him in the background. Why not? Where was Michonne running towards the horde of walkers? I think she was gonna run beside them because honestly, I don't know why she would run into them. That's true. Has your ranking changed on the season since the finale? Oh yeah. I'm gonna upload the ranking video probably tomorrow, maybe Thursday, but my opinion's changed quite a bit. Yeah. It's like if you saw my ranking video that I posted one like a couple months ago or in March. I did tier ranking in March or April or something like that. My most viewed video on the channel, actually. My opinions have changed since then. So, what spinoff do you think will be the most popular? Rick and Michonne one for sure. Do you have any intention on continuing Mission Impossible? Yeah, so it's just because I've been really busy and I'm trying to get through so many different things right now. Only reason I haven't continued it. I will get to it though when I can. It's gonna probably be not till like December. I said it was gonna be November, and honestly, November just became the most busiest month it could possibly have been, unfortunately. So I just wasn't able to get to it, but I will. I'm currently reacting to season 4 of Fear the Walking Dead. Is the show worth reacting to since it's part of the Walking Dead universe? It depends. I don't know, because there's really good stuff there, but there's also really bad stuff. So it's also opinionated too. You might love it, even though if I didn't love it. So I don't know. I think season 6 is great. Season 6 is a lot of great moments. Season 5 I thought was just weirdly just meh. I don't know. It just didn't, not much happen, I guess. So. All right, I will be ending the stream probably in the next like couple minutes, so any last minute questions, just kind of throw them at me as soon as possible because I do have to go soon. My voice is dying. You can probably hear it dying already. I think Michonne is going to rescue Rick long before Daryl finds him. Oh yeah, because they got to be together in the show for a little bit. They can't just have them apart the whole time, so that would make sense. The Walking Dead should have ended at the end of season 8. No. I needed more of that stuff, man. A lot of people did say that, but no, there's a lot more they could have done with the series. I'm glad they did continue it. Twitter's been dragging The Walking Dead all week. Oh yeah, no, I don't know what it is. Well, it's because the show's really popular. At least it was popular at one point. Anything that's really popular is bound to get more hate. That's just how it is. Especially things that were really popular at one point, but then eventually became less popular. You know what I mean? Those things get the most hate. Like those things get dragged through the dirt by online people. You know what I mean? How long is your winter break? I think till like mid-January or something. Surprised they killed off every savior except for Negan and Gracie. They shouldn't have killed. Oh yeah, Gracie's technically a savior. That's funny. They shouldn't have killed off Aladdin. That was stupid to me. I really thought killing off Aladdin was stupid because it didn't do anything for the story. It's not like that added to anything. It was just like a nice little moment for Maggie to be all sad and emotional. And it was like, okay, well, what did it do for her character? It didn't do anything. Yeah, Aladdin could have been a decent part to the rest of the show. I don't know. I would have liked it. I have not watched The Wire, no. I've heard it's really good though. I just haven't watched it. I know a lot of Walking Dead actors are on it though. I do know that. All right. I think I'm gonna end it all here. Happy Thanksgiving. Thank you. Happy Thanksgiving to you too. The Walking Dead comics, All Out War versus The Walking Dead, All Out War. Shit, that's the tough one. I can't like, because I actually do like All Out War in the show. I don't love it. I hated a lot about it. But there's a lot of things they did that I liked more than the comics. But then the comics also probably was more consistently better with All Out War. So it's hard for me to say. It really is. And it's hard to compare them to, even with the Whisper War. It's hard to compare because it's like, they don't have to worry about budget at all. They can do these crazy battles without worrying about like how much it's going to cost them, you know? So that's the issue there too. But I don't know. I really do like All Out War in both of them. I don't know, it's hard to pick. Do you think the Whisper War should have lasted shorter if Rick was there, or would have lasted shorter? I don't think so. I probably would have done it for about a season the same way they did. All right, so yeah, I'm gonna end the stream here. Thank you all for watching. In terms of Walking Dead content, we have the season ranking, episode ranking, a tier ranking of all the Walking Dead universe seasons, that as well. Probably a couple other rankings, and then there's going to be a Chucky video this week for the finale, as well as a Chucky ranking of all the movies and the seasons together. Terrifier 2 reaction as well, that should be coming within the next week. So a lot of stuff in the next couple weeks. And then after that, December, we'll get to Game of Thrones. We'll get to more Jessica Jones as well. I haven't reacted to that in a while. I'll get back to that. More movies, everything like that. So I will see you all next time. Peace out.